All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Our day of women's football continues after a thrilling encounter between Liverpool and Manchester United. We're back now for the WSL top of the table clash. Reigning champions Chelsea take on hopeful victors Manchester City. 9 points separating the two sides. If Chelsea win today, they can close the gap and we may start to have a title race back on our hands. But if City claim a victory, it's all but done. That was something very exciting this season. City in a prime position, Harry, to stop Chelsea's reign of dominance. And today is going to be really important.
As you say, an absolutely massive game, and City have got to take full advantage. This feels more about City winning the title more than Chelsea catching back up. Even a loss would still put the Man City in a strong position. But if they were to go 12 points clear today, surely they wouldn't be looking back and they can full steam ahead to the WSL title. Massive 90 minutes coming up. This game at the Etihad last year was another pivotal one for the title race, where a 95th minute winner from Erin Cuthbert practically won Chelsea the title on that day. So these games have always been big between these two sides. These games are always going to be big ones in terms of the destination of the title. But yeah, another massive one this afternoon. Chelsea have to win, really, if they want any chance of winning the title. City know that if they avoid defeat, for me, they've got one hand on the trophy tonight. So
I think they've got two hands on the trophy, I have to say. I don't see anyone catching them if they can open up such a sizable gap. The other thing for Chelsea, why a win is really important today, is obviously they've fallen behind Manchester United preliminarily in the table, and Arsenal would be a point off them with a game in hand as well. So this is a really important game for Chelsea, not just in the hopeful context of the title race, but also in the context of their campaign in general. And a win today could see the start of something, of them kicking on and looking at the other competitions, even if they can't go on to close that 6 point gap that Manchester City would open up at the top. You know, they would close to City at the top. It's a platform to build the rest of the season on, and it does give them some hope, as you say, of winning the title. But let's get into the lineups then, and we'll start with Manchester City, as it's a relatively unchanged City side at the Etihad Stadium. In goal, Ayaka Yamashita. A back four of Kasparai, Jade Rose, Rebecca Nack, and captain Alex Greenwood. In the pivot, it's Blinker or Brown alongside Yui Hasegawa. Karen on one side, Hemp on the other, Myanmar in the 10, and Shaw leads the line. Very little change what we've seen them use throughout this season, Harry. Is that a surprise at all?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's a very, very good side. It's a side that have picked up many, many results for Man City, and they were hoping to do the same. I thought they faltered a little bit against London City, and it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. But that was a very compact pitch, and London City side that sat very deep. They've got space to use Manchester City today, which I think is going to favour both sides. They've got to get the ball out wide, and you know, home crowd is absolutely massive in this kind of games. We don't usually mention it when City play at the Joey, but at the Etihad, a lot more people through the gates and a massive opportunity to use that, and that can be a massive advantage in these kind of games. But the personnel is exactly what you expect. It's a brilliant 11 for Man City, full of quality, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they can beat Chelsea today. A very, very good Chelsea side, but City, this has been a consistent 11. If they keep it up, they've got a very good chance of taking something away.
As for the visitors then, the Chelsea team, lots of changes as expected after the disaster that we saw last weekend, losing to Arsenal. Huge upset in that game. Chelsea going for a few changes then. In goal, Hannah Hampton, a back three of Germa Bright, the captain, and Viola Berman, with Carpenter and Baltimore playing in the wing-back positions. Midfield pivot then of Walsh coming back into the side to start alongside Erin Cuthbert. And then it looks like a midfield or attacking midfield two of Vika Kaptein and Lauren James, flanking the central forward of Alyssa Thompson. No recognised striker in this game. Interesting to see that from Chelsea. Something a little bit different. We could see James and Thompson as a front two. That very much could be the situation. But is there a world in which we see them go back to what they did against City on the opener and look to be very transitional with the two attack midfielders and the one striker and look to hurt them in behind?
Yeah, exactly that. I think Chelsea have got to go back to what they know and what did work and what is proven to work. I think that it's an interesting shift to not have a recognised number 9 on there, and it will be interesting to see how that faces up against what is a very physical City centre-half pairing, and I'll be intrigued to see what Alyssa Thompson can do, because I thought she did struggle in that League Cup game up against Jade Rose, so that is going to be an interesting battle today. But yeah, Chelsea looking to be transitional, hit City on the break and try and capitalise on City potentially looking weak in those wide areas, and there's lots of space to use. As I said, I mentioned it for City, but for Chelsea mainly, we know Chelsea like a big wide pitch to stretch the play and get the wing backs involved, and today they can do that at the Etihad. So it'll be interesting to see. Carpenter and Baltimore are going to play a massive part in this game, and if they can get on the ball, like when Carpenter, her assist for the goal against Manchester City on the opening day, that's exactly what Chelsea will look to do today. They've got to hurt City out wide, got to hurt them in transition, and make Jeglert's side to work for it. I think they've learned from the League Cup semi-final 9 days ago that perhaps they should revert back to what did work earlier in the season. But Chelsea have got to react today. There has to be a reaction from Chelsea, no doubt about it. We're not good enough last Saturday. They have to bounce back in this game.
Yeah, I thought both games against Arsenal were very similar. They'll be hoping both games against City are very similar. Obviously, the first game at the Emirates was a lot stronger than what we saw last Saturday. But Chelsea, the side they've lined up today, it looks like they're trying to play as similar as they can to the opening day of the season for me. You've got Thompson playing that central striker role, and she'll be looking to get in behind it as much as possible. Obviously, without the option of Beaver Jones, she's only just back from injury. We couldn't really see her start today, but you expect to see a similar sort of thing from Thompson in that role, looking to make runs off the shoulder, looking to get in behind. Then you've got James replacing Hermano, and I think you do get something completely different from Lauren James, but in terms of function in the system, they do fit a similar sort of role. But James will give you a different outlet, someone who can create something out of nothing in that sort of position. The rest of the team is broadly the same. Neve Child's the only other player dropping out who hasn't really been in favour under Sonia Bonpastor, and considering she scored an own goal in that game, it's been since then we haven't really seen much of Neve Charles this season, but she has been in for some of the bigger matches, but today not preferred. Villa Berman, though, big opportunity for her. Bronze, you'd have to imagine it'd be some sort of knock that sees her out of the selection, but interesting decisions then from Sonia Bonpastor.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that the Burn one's be the biggest change for me. She's looked very, very composed this season, looked very calm for a young player, but that is City have got to try and play on that. This was her biggest test so far in a Chelsea shirt, and I think that Khadija Shaw is the main one for me. Up against Bright, it will be a close duel. Bright has got the physicality to deal with Shaw. That'll be a good contest. But if Shaw can just drift and end up going 1v1 versus Berman, that will be a big test of the youngster to see how she handles that. Not only physical element, but Khadija Shaw's got a decent turn of pace. So it'll be interesting to see whether Shaw can try and get away from Millie Bright and look to target Verla Berman, and whether Verla Berman will come in. And Bonpastor clearly trusts her, and we've seen Berman look very calm and composed. I think on the ball she'll be fine. It's just that off the ball element where she's got that City front line running at her. Can they work well together, especially when we know how important it is that those wide centre halves are covering for Millie Bright in that central role? That will be the biggest test. Berman is the biggest change out for Bronze. Apart from that, I don't mind the other rotation. It's exactly what you need after a poor performance, and as you say, trying to mirror what happened back in September. If Chelsea can do that, then there's a good chance they walk away with 3 points.
Well, Berman's up against Carolyn today, and I think that's a matchup that does suit Villa Berman, someone who's going to look to use her pace, but Berman is quick and can read the game really well. And I think Carolyn is great at being direct and just driving with the ball. But where we've seen Berman struggle a little bit is with very tricky wingers, players that can go either way, and they are difficult to deal with. Carolyn's not really that. Carolyn is very much like a road runner. She just gets the ball, puts the blinkers on and drives it forwards. And I think that will be a nicer matchup today for Berman. Bright up against Shaw is the big matchup. If Bright is on it and can nullify the threat of Khadija Shaw, that is a big tool in the City arsenal that goes. And she was excellent in that opening day of the season. And she has usually been very good against Khadija Shaw. Khadija Shaw's record against Chelsea, she's got a handful of goals, but it's not been anywhere near as strong as it is against the rest of the league. So if they can nullify the threat of Shaw again today, it puts them in a fantastic position to actually claim something. We saw last week against London City how open Man City were in transition. That's exactly what Chelsea are trying to target today. It will be on Carpenter and Baltimore, while they will be very deep, to get forwards when they can in attacking areas. It will be on Captain and James to pull a little bit wider. It will be on Thompson to make those runs in behind. But if they can hurt City, if they can move the ball quickly, they will hurt them in transitions. And that is their best opportunity. London City had so many chances, they just couldn't quite take them. But the players that Chelsea have in the final third, they have got players who can take their opportunities. But they can't underestimate how good City are. And the midfield battle has been really difficult for Chelsea this season. They rank the lowest in the WSL for duels won percentage. That is outrageously poor. Now, Walsh going back into the side helps them shore things up on the ball, but Cuthbert's got to be more combative. Captain's got to get in and do that defensive work as well. James has got to be up for this today. There's so many areas where Chelsea just need to up that level, obviously. I mean, last week the level was on the floor. But if they can mirror the performance we saw on the opening day of the season, they will get back to a level where they can beat Manchester City. But we haven't seen that level in many games this season from Chelsea. So it's going to be a really interesting game. The other area I think City can, or both sides can hurt each other is set pieces. Both quite good at attacking set pieces. Though Chelsea's stats don't show it, they have got aerial threat. City have been so good on attacking set pieces over the last few years, and we know Chelsea have struggled at times to deal with aerials. So if they can target Shaw and Neck effectively, it's another tool in that City arsenal that's just made them really difficult to stop.
Yeah, exactly that. They have been brilliant this season. I thought that even in the League Cup game when they lost to Chelsea, they were very, very good. And I think another element of this game that's going to come into it is clinicality. Man City have, on the whole, been very clinical this season, but in that League Cup semi-final, could not put the ball in the back of the net to save their life. Chelsea, however, have not been clinical this season. In that semi-final, Chelsea were brilliant and had one big chance. They took it and they scored it. So clinicality is going to be another massive thing. If City can take their... It's going to come down to which side takes their chances. I really do believe that. Chelsea have had a habit this season of not taking their chances, but they did a couple of weeks ago against the same opposition. City, reverse thing. They've looked really good and really clinical this season, but against Chelsea, they haven't found a way to score off their own accord yet this season. So it's going to be a very, very tight game. Going to be a very interesting one. It's going to come down to fine margins. It always does when these two meet. So, yeah, really hard one to call. City have been brilliant all season, but Chelsea have a knack in these kind of games to turn up and get it over the line.
A hard one to call indeed. One we're going to have to call now. If you're watching along to the live show, get involved in the live chat. Let us know your scoreline predictions. We'll kick things off here in the studio, though, and we'll start with yourself, Harry. Manchester City taking on Chelsea at the Etihad Stadium. What is your prediction?
Oh, it's really tough. I said I can't call it. I think they're two very, very good sides. I'm going to sit on the fence and I'm going to say a draw. I will say Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. I can't split the two. I think it'll be a draw and we'll come out of the weekend in a very similar scenario to the way we went into it. And the big winner will be Manchester United. I will say City to open the scoring through Khadija Shaw. I think she'll get the better of Bright and punish her for that. Chelsea, though, will work their way back into the game, and very similar to the late heroics we saw last season at the Etihad, I will say Baltimore late on with 10 minutes to go. One of her trademark finishes on the left-hand side, smashes it into the far corner and levels the game for Chelsea. 1-1 draw. City remains 6 points clear.
Fair enough. I'm going to mirror my prediction from, the opening game of the season. I'm going to say Man City 1, Chelsea 2. I think Chelsea are really good at stepping up, especially in these kind of games. The pressure's on the Blues today. This is a big match. We've not seen City get the better of Chelsea yet this season, and that is still a hurdle they're yet to overcome. It's still an obstacle they're yet to overcome. As much as impressive as they've been just at taking teams apart this season, I still think they'll probably win the title. This is a game where Chelsea can raise their level. And if they do raise that level, I think City will struggle to meet them. And so, yeah, I'm going to say Chelsea to win. I will say a Chelsea 2-1 victory. I think Chelsea will go 2-0 up. It'll be goals from Lauren James. And I will say Sam Kerr off the bench around 60, 70 minutes. And then for City, I think it'll be an 80th minute goal that we start to think, oh, maybe City are going to come back into this. I think it'll probably be from Hasegawa playing in that slightly higher role. But I don't think City will come back, and it will be a 2-1 win for Chelsea just to get the 3 points over the line. Locus says Chelsea 2, City 1. Kevin saying Chelsea 2, City 1. F said going 3-0 Man City. A very optimistic Chelsea fan there. Who says, not sure why, but I fancy City to win big here. Rare for me, but I think Chelsea might be on the rocks. I'm going 4-1. Bold there from
I wonder who Phil supports. I can't guess.
Completely neutral prediction there from Phil. But this will be a very interesting game nonetheless. Can City beat Chelsea for the first time this season? The first time they would have beaten them since 2024, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of those, both sides got to raise their game from last weekend. They'll know that. Chelsea more than City, obviously, but I think both sides have got to up it, and that's a difficult thing to do. I think it's something we have seen Chelsea do time and time before, but can this 11 players react? It's exactly what they need to do. They cannot afford to come out and put on another poor showing Chelsea. They need to react. They need to find a way to win this football game. They've got to get over the line. Titles on the line. Chelsea usually deliver when that is the case.
Mm.
But who knows? City have been brilliant this season, and it may not fall the way of the Blues.
And well, the poll in chat speaking volumes, 86 votes, 46% Man City, 46%
Wow.
Chelsea, 8% going for a draw. It couldn't be tighter. Keep your predictions coming in. Keep your scoreline predictions coming into the live chat as well as we prepare for kickoff here at the Etihad Stadium. The last game of this WSL match week, the biggest game of the season for both these two sides. Chelsea need a win to stay in contention. City feel like they'll seal it with the 3 points. Which side will come out on top? Over 90 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. It's sure to be a great game of football either way. And it will be Manchester City to get us started here. Viviana Miedema from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle to kick off the final game of match week 14. Miedema from the middle, knocks it back. We're underway here at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City taking on Chelsea. The WSL top of the table clash cleared away well by Birmingham City, looking to go direct early on. Baltimore heads it down. It's won back by Manchester City. Which side will settle quickest in this game is going to be a really important part of the narrative today. Here is Knack on the ball, looking to play it forwards, and Berman there judges that one well. Baltimore manages to dispossess Blinkilda Brown. Cuthbert now into Captain. And Chelsea driving that ball forwards. Carpenter not up quick enough. Now able to provide the supporting run. Captain does go backwards into Germer. And smartly, Chelsea had put Bright back in the middle of the back three. Was slightly concerned after seeing the BBC graphic that Bright might be on the left-hand side again. Berman goes down the line into Erin Cuthbert now, who's holding the width. And Blinkilda Brown gets back in there. Kasparai wins it back, and Cuthbert pulling her down.
Yeah, it's going to be a key fight in there. You mentioned that poor midfield duel record for Chelsea. And again, I thought in that Women's League Cup semi-final, City did have the better of Chelsea with that Blinkilda Brown and Hasegawa pivot. Cuthbert and Welsh have got to be combative, got to be aggressive. That, though, too aggressive from Cuthbert, committing the foul. But Chelsea have got to match the ability. We know how good that City pivot has been this season, but Chelsea have got to match it.
Knack knocks it wide. Greenwood now into Hemp. Back towards Greenwood. And Miedema. Knack now goes into Yamashita, who plays it to Rose. And that's picked off well by Sondi Baltimore. And Chelsea will look to drive it forwards. Baltimore, though, short on options. He is going to be forced backwards. Captain now, almost caught in possession. And goes back to Bright. Out towards the right-hand side from Brighton. That's over here. Interesting to see. It's more of a midfield three today for Chelsea at times, with Cuthbert happy to be a lot higher than we're used to seeing her. And her and Captain interchanging roles quite nicely, more of a single pivot then. Here is Rose carrying the ball forwards. A very dynamic setup for Chelsea without the ball. Hemp now wants to drive down this left-hand side. Looking to take on Ellie Carpenter. Ball into the area. Germer heads it away. Kept alive now, and it's Hemp again. It puts a lot on that delivery. Kasparai tries to meet it, and it hits her body and bounces out of play. That'll be a Chelsea goal kick.
Yeah, it's important that both sides settle down in this game, especially the more inexperienced players. You just want to get a foot on the ball and get into the fixture. Already, though, City showing that they want to get that ball into the Chelsea penalty area, put pressure on the centre-halves and look to find Khadija Shaw. A bit heavy that, though, from Hemp. Not quite the ball she was looking for.
Indeed. Throw in on this far side now for Manchester City. And it's Kasparai. Surveying our options. And goes backwards now into Rose. Thompson quick to put pressure on. Rose looks to be direct, and that will run through. And Germer communicates well with Bright there. It looks like a fallback for Chelsea in most phases at the moment. Berman playing almost as that left back, with Baltimore freed up then to play on the wing. And Carter's looking to go in behind here. And Knack able to knock it home. Thompson puts the pressure on Yamashita, who calmly plays it back to Rebecca Knack. Now inside to Blinkilda Brown. Cuthbert quick to press. Here's Rose. carrying that ball forwards. Now into Kasparai. Berman gets beaten too easily. Cuthbert tries to deal. Shaw flicks on. And that's good defending from Walsh. Now back to Bright. And now here is Baltimore. Looks to turn, and Carolyn dragging her down, and that will be a free kick.
Yeah, it's a bit of a big shift that from Chelsea. Going to be interesting how it plays out. The problem there is
You've got Bright left centre back.
yeah, and then you leave Germer isolated to Khadija Shaw, which is exactly what you wanted to avoid by playing the more of the 3-back.
Flicked on by Baltimore. That's out of play. When everyone drops in, it's okay because you end up with this sort of situation when they're playing on the right and you've got Bright on the back of Khadija Shaw. But the concern is when you don't have that situation, when it's not settled, and you end up with Bright having to deal with Carolyn. Germer, I think, is fine at dealing with Shaw. But my bigger concern is Bright. I mean, Bright is man-marking Shaw at the moment. She's followed her deep into midfield. Here is Knack on the left-hand side. Tries to feed it through the lines into Shaw, bounces it back, but it's misplaced. And Cuthbert now can drive this ball forward for Chelsea. No option in the wide areas. Goes back to Lauren James. Who exchanges with Walsh, and now she'll look to make something happen here, James. Shaw on her back. James saunters past her, though. Very casually. There's Lauren James play the game of football. Baltimore now into Captine, who's made the run into the half space. Back towards Baltimore. Wanted to touch and deliver. Won't happen. Kasparai out to narrow the angle. Now Baltimore trying to twist and turn away into the box. Blocked away by Kasparai. And Miedemar hits the channel. Strong from Bright. On Shaw. Assertive in the initial phase. Ball played in behind. Germer sweeps up. Carolyn pulls her back. Yeah. And that a blatant foul there from the City forward.
Yeah. Another one from Carolyn. Didn't really need to do that. She had Germer under a lot of pressure. Nicked the ball off her, though, in an unfair fashion. But that's exactly where you want Millie. What you want Millie Bright to do. Step up onto Shaw, give her a nudge and force her back a few yards. Don't let her settle.
If she does that for 90 minutes, still that will be, a top performance. And it shows that Bright can still contribute. The concern will be if Shaw can get the better of her at all in this game and be the difference maker. Here's Naomi Germer. Plays it into Lauren James, who again skips away from a few challenges. Miedemar trying to stop her in her track. She shifts it into Bright, who's going to look to open up the right-hand side, and that is a lovely ball. Carpenter misjudges it, though, and Greenwood will see it out of play.
That's the ball, though. That's what Chelsea are looking for. Get the ball onto the left-hand side, and then Bright or somebody finds that switch to the right-hand side where Carpenter's alone and one-on-one with Greenwood.
Yeah.
It was that one-on-one that unlocked the first goal at Stamford Bridge, and that's exactly what Chelsea are looking to do again.
Zave says, what role is James playing today? Seems to be an attacking midfielder. James isn't playing in the structure. Lauren James doesn't exist out of possession. And even in possession, she's just popping up wherever she wants. They've not put her in a position, and I kind of like that. She's just roaming. Wherever she... I mean, there's been times where she's in defence midfield and she's helping in the build-up. There's times where she's in the attacking third. Now she's at right wing. James is irrelevant to what everyone else is doing. James is floating. She's now at right back. Here's Lauren James on the ball. Looks to come inside. There's a lot of fluidity about the way Chelsea are playing today. Captine. Into Carpenter, who's up high. Back to Captine. Under pressure from Hemp. Pokes it wide into Carpenter again. Back to Vika Captine. And now Walsh, Captine, nice turn. Cuthbert tries to play through the lines. Not going to happen. And now this is where City create an opportunity to break in behind because Shaw's driving it forwards. Germer stands her up well. Needs support now, Shaw. Carolyn. Can't find Shaw again. Back wide to Hemp. Who'll look to take on Ellie Carpenter. Carpenter stands her up well. Delivery from Hemp. Not brilliant. Floats out of play and Chelsea deal with that again.
Yes, another poor ball in from Lauren Hemp. Well stood up by Ellie Carpenter. But Hemp would have liked, again, to be putting in a better delivery than this. You've got Shaw in there. You've got Kasparai arriving at the back post and she ends up just floating it over everybody and out for a goal kick. Just can't seem to find that range at the moment, Lauren Hemp on that left-hand side.
Yeah. Hampton into Baltimore, playing a bit of a central role at the moment. Berman back into Baltimore. Has Carolyn giving her chase. Back to Berman, into Baltimore. Cuthbert now. And Miedemar gets back in there. Well, does the defensive work. Shaw splitting the defenders. Someone needs to... Oh, there's no support for City here. And Shaw brought down. And that's clumsy from Cuthbert. She not only won the ball, but there was cover.
Yeah, doesn't need to do that there in Cuthbert. Khadija Shaw's going nowhere. No one's supporting her. Germa is dealing with her adequately.
And Chelsea have 4 players back. And City have no one up in support.
Oh, yeah, Shaw's going absolutely nowhere, and Cuthbert just dives in and takes her out. Germa's in the process of winning the ball back. That's a really clumsy tackle. Doesn't need to do that.
It's so unnecessary there from Erin Cuthbert. Such a stupid position to give this free kick away. I mean, it's probably too close to the goal to be a real threat. I say that, they're probably going to dip it in the top corner now, but it's such a silly position to give away a free kick, especially when Shaw has no options to pass to and has 3 players directly in front of her. Silly from Cuthbert. Does not need to make that foul there. And Miedemar over this free kick then.
It's a nice range. It's really nice. It's actually, look, it's further back than I think the foul was, actually.
Yeah, they've definitely pulled that slightly further back to give them a bit of an angle. I wonder if she might just look to hit this around the wall, though. Either way, City with this free kick then at 10 minutes in. I still think it's a little close to get it up and back down again. I wonder if she'll even try that, whether she might just try and aim for the bottom corner. Yamashita looks like she's on the edge of the box in that shot.
It's got to be good. It's going to have to be something good to beat Hannah Hampton.
Well, it is Viviana Miedemar. The exact kind of player you want to step up when you need something brilliant. Miedemar rolls it. Greenwood takes aim, and that's blocked by James. And it wasn't a great strike from Greenwood. They try to catch Chelsea out with a little roll. Headed away well by Germa as it's put back into the box. Knack will see it out of play, and City now with a corner.
Yeah, wrong decision that. I think one of them's just got to hit it.
I don't know, because I think they probably got more from that than they would have otherwise. I think they would, if you hit it there, it's going out of play. They've won a corner from this.
They've done well to recycle it and win a corner. Maybe.
Either way, City now with this set piece, and it's Kasparai. And they'll look to swing it in to the area. Hemp here on Hampton. After some surprise, no one is trying to stop that. Ball into the area, and Berman unopposed heads it away. Carolyn now looks to put it back in, and it's blocked well by James, but that will be another corner.
Yeah, Chelsea just having to contend with a bit of a good spell from City. And again, we know that corner threat that Manchester City do carry, with the likes of Knack, Shaw, Miedemar all lurking around the penalty spot. Rose in there as well. Not sure why Sondi Baltimore is marking Jade Rose, but there we go.
And this will be an outswinger from Kirsten Kasparai. Put in towards the front post. It bounces through bodies, and it's cleared away. Carolyn takes aim, and it deflects home, and City take the lead in this game. A cluster of bodies in the box. It bounces clear, and Carolyn, it took a wild deflection, but City won't care. It's City 1, Chelsea 0 in this game. And we know they can capitalise on corners. It's a huge deflection. Carolyn popping out 5 different celebrations, though, as City take the lead.
Big goal for City. Chelsea's box defending all over the place. And we spoke about the threat from set pieces. The ball's put in from Kasparai, and it's poke goals by a Chelsea player. It's Germa, who flicks it towards her own net initially. Chelsea scamper to deal with it, and it falls to Carolyn, who's under no pressure.
Yeah, it's poor from Germa. Someone's got to get out to it, and it just comes off Carpenter. It's not a great shot from Carolyn. It's going wide. It comes off Carpenter, deflects across goal, and bounces home. And Chelsea just don't deal with that set piece at all. How is that allowed to bounce through? Germa makes a mess of it. No one responds, and it deflects home. Man City 1, Chelsea 0.
Organisational issues for Chelsea once again. Defensively, people have got to talk. 3 people have thrown them. 3 people have gone to block the same shot, and only one has made contact with it, and that contact's made it more difficult for the goalkeeper. And why Germa is turning that towards her own goal there, no idea.
No, it's panic. And I think, again, we've spoken a lot recently about Chelsea's individual errors. It's another game where that opening goal has come from mistakes from Chelsea players. They don't respond to Miedemar. It's poor from Naomi Girma. Hampton punches it. Could she have caught it? It's a bit of a frantic situation after it was flicked back up at her, but that just leaves it for Carolyn in acres of space.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Hampton punched it, whether Berman booted it away. But either way, those two have got to talk.
It was just panic from everyone in the Chelsea box.
But it shows the position that Chelsea are in right now. Really poor performance last week. They know they're under pressure, not only for the title, but for the top 4 race. And there are certain players out there who are feeling it. The more inexperienced players are absolutely feeling that pressure for Chelsea.
Rose will let this throw-in be taken by Kasparov. Ev says there's 5 defenders on the pitch, by the way. For Chelsea, that's not really. Bolton was at left wing-back. As a left-back anyway, really say. It's been more of a 4-back. But, yeah, I mean, it's a big mistake from Girma. It's a mistake at the front post as well that no one jumps on that ball before it bounces across goal. And that just cost Chelsea there.
You could have 11 defenders on the pitch. You'd still concede a corner.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Nothing to do with it.
Here's Berman. But, it's similar to what we've seen a lot for Chelsea this season. 10 minutes where they were probably... I mean, both sides were fairly even, but they definitely didn't look like imminently conceding. Here's Captain. Pounces well on this ball. Can she now pick out a teammate? Lovely footwork. Finds Cuthbert. Forced backwards into Girma. Walsh. Now Girma. Plays it to Captain, who's fouled in there by Greenwood. Advantage played, though, as Chelsea have the ball. Carpenter back into Naomi Girma. Here's Walsh. Looks to put the ball into a good area. Thompson can't quite take it in her stride. And Kasparov will get it out of play. Berman lets it go for the throw. Looks to take it quickly. Chelsea settling back into how they were playing in the opening 10 minutes. Walsh. Now across to Girma. Bright. Plays it wide to Berman. Now inside to Cuthbert. Can't quite find the angle on the forward pass. Walsh. Now Lauren James. Clipping it into a great area. Captain will get there at Chelsea level. And the flag is up for offside. And Vika Captain heading her hands in frustration. Is that the right call from the line-out? It's a fantastic ball and a tidy header. Has she just drifted into an offside position? Yeah, just about. It's tight. It's the arm. It's a lovely move. Jade Rose misjudges it. But Chelsea just offside. And this is how it goes. When there's a team who look like they're going to win the title, they get the deflected goal. And a team that are struggling to just get games over the line and narrowly offside. Carolyn into Hemp. But that a much better move in the attacking third from Chelsea.
Yeah, much better from Chelsea. And Captain, fortunately, had 2-headed goals in 2 against Man City. But fractionally offside, really good call on the far side.
Yeah.
But Chelsea, as you said, they've been in this game. It's an even game. It was the free kick that was needed given away that led to a corner that then led to the corner that the goal was scored from. And that passage, gave City the lead. But apart from that, it's been a very even game, and Chelsea are looking to break away once again here.
And it's Sondy Baltimore carrying this forward, and she's in loads of space, but with no support. Now looks to deliver it into the area. It'll bounce clear. Here's Erin Cuthbert. Big block in there from Greenwood. And City escape again. Berman was pulled back a little there by Shaw. Carolyn has the ball. Picked off by Walsh in there. And Carolyn does win it back. Now Shaw. Plays it inside to Carolyn. Looks to knock it in behind, and that will run through to Hannah Hampton.
We spoke about the lack of a recognised number 9 on the pitch for Chelsea, and that there is my biggest problem with it. Baltimore picks up the ball. She's in acres of space. She looks up to cross it, and her 2 options are Thompson, who's hidden behind a defender, and Victor Capdine, who's hidden behind the other defender. So she can't put the ball in. They put it in. It gets cleared away, and it falls to Cuthbert. Yes, but still, Chelsea aren't going to make first contact with that cross. It's just not going to happen today.
True, but I love Sam Kerr. Obviously, our movement would be different, but you're trying to cross the ball in against Knack and Rose. Like, unless you get a situation like you just did with Captine, and in which case Captine was able to make the run, pull away from Rose and create the space anyway. And I think by having Thompson, they have a better chance of hurting City if they can break in behind.
Yeah. I'll tell you who you want Myra Ramirez. It's a perfect player for this game.
Or Beaver Jones, who obviously played in the first game, was fantastic in that match. Here's Yamashita. Now Rose. Plays into Blinkilda Brown. And back now to Rose. Yamashita. Knack plays it through the lines into Viviana Miedemar, who was running out of play, and that will be a Chelsea throw.
Yes. I'm intrigued to see how City play it from here. Will they just keep... It's difficult to just keep doing the same thing against Chelsea for 70 minutes and hope you don't get figured out. But I'm intrigued to see where Jeglertz goes. We see a lot of sides against Chelsea. They can take the lead. United have done it before. Other sides have done it before. They take the lead and then you just drop it 5-10 yards. Arsenal kept the pressure on, got the second goal and then dropped it back a little bit. I'm intrigued to see how City play it today now.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen Jeglertz leading against Bonpastor. I think that'll be really interesting to see. I don't think City have played fantastically in the early stages here. It's difficult to get a good read on the game, but they got that goal. That was important, but I think they'll recognise that it wasn't through them playing brilliantly. But it is an important, it's an important part of why they've been able to be so successful this season is finding goals in those moments. I mean, Khadija Shaw has missed some huge opportunities this season from chances they've created, but they've been clinical at capitalising on other teams' mistakes.
Yeah, exactly that.
Germa can't find a teammate down the line. Greenwood ball into the area. Berman doesn't deal with that properly. Here's Carolyn. Wide now of the goal, and she clips it back for Kasperite. It goes back to Carolyn. Brilliant from Berman to react, though her clearance is swept up quickly by Jade Rose.
Yeah, they're the kind of goals you score. They're the kind of goals champions score. How many times, when Chelsea have gone to win the league, have we seen them, get wins over the line by not scoring pretty goals, but scoring important goals? And, they're exactly what you need to do if you want, to turn draws into wins, losses into draws, and in the end, win titles.
Greenwood goes down the line. Hemp cuts it back. Miedemar to Shaw. Touches it back to Blinkilda Brown. Now Carolyn. Ball in there, and Bright assertive in getting that ball clear of play. Knack now. Kasperaj tries to touch it around Berman. He's been really good so far. Villa Berman combative in that role. Kasperaj wins it off of Baltimore though. Blinkilda Brown wide to Carolyn. Kasperaj makes the run beyond. Bright out to deal with it, and that's strong from Millie Bright, who's, again, had a really good first 20 minutes here. Been very assertive, and we've not really seen Khadija Shaw in this match. Back now with Villa Berman.
Yeah, I like the combative element to this game. As physicality is playing a big role, and it's been pretty even so far. We've seen, City are winning some duels, Chelsea are winning others. And it's, again, that helps, that's added to what's been a very balanced, first 23 minutes.
Germa carries it forwards well. Carpenter looks to lift it in behind. But Miedemar there, almost playing as a defensive midfielder, able to drop in and receive it. Hemp. Back to Greenwood. What you've got really interesting as well is you've got two sides who are trying to play like player for player out of possession. But you've also got two sides who are very dynamic in possession. So what we're watching is stuff like, evidently Miedemar's been told to stick close out of possession with I believe, Lauren James for some reason. So she's often dropping really deep. Ball across the area there, and Berman knocks it home. And we've seen Bright pushing up to midfield because Shaw's dropped to receive the ball. And we're seeing players being dragged all over the pitch at the moment. Berman looking to go long with it. Rose runs that out of play under pressure. Good press from Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah, exactly what Chelsea need to do. Put Rose under pressure. Thompson will want to put up a better fight than she did in that League Cup game. Got to be more aggressive and try and cause Rose more problems.
Absolutely. So, hopefully we get back to the game in a moment. We do indeed. Berman. Walsh playing it into Captine. Now Thompson, Cuthbert, manages to get away well from Carolyn. Cuts it looking for Baltimore and Knack able to pick it off. And Chelsea will build out now back to Yamashita, who lashes it forwards and Germa brings it down well. Germa through the lines to Carpenter. Can she find someone with the cross? It's low, it's across the goal and it gets past Knack and Greenwood, but no one in a Chelsea shirt can latch on it. Walsh plays it wide again. Carpenter, ball into a good area. That's over everyone though. A heavy delivery. Berman. Now Baltimore. Germa now. Walsh. Wide into Carpenter. Germa. Switching the play. It's bounced horribly for Viola Berman there. It's a fantastic ball. Berman's made a good run and it just bounces up and hits her in the face. It's been one of those games so far for Chelsea where it's just an inch off being able to make something happen. Cuthbert plays it inside. Berman touches on to Walsh. Walsh knocks it down the line. Captine creates the space. Thought she might play it first time. Back to Baltimore. He wants to take on Kasparai. Across goal, and that almost found the bottom corner. It was a half shot, half cross. It felt like indecision. Probably led to it being neither, and it rolls out of play.
Yeah, I thought Captine should have played this across initially, but allowed City to set Baltimore. It's a brilliant ball. Just flashed across goal. Probably it's too fast for Thompson to throw herself at it. For me, it feels like a shot. Because you can't fizz it like that and expect anyone to get on the end of it.
I think it's one of those where I know she's trying to go far side to open up. Maybe Thompson gets there. But if you're going to put that much power on it, just blast it in the front post. You know, Yamashita's done decently this season, but it doesn't feel like it's impossible to get a goal past her.
Yeah.
You know, we've just seen with a Captine header that they ruled offside, rightfully so. But that was not a fantastic header. It was just on target, and it got past Yamashita. So Baltimore could have just struck that at goal and tried a luck there. You know, at worst, Yamashita saves it and it spills out to someone, right?
Yeah.
Walsh tries to play it down the line. Baltimore touches it on and James now breaking into the box. Kasparai will get back in there and block the cross and it's a Chelsea corner now.
Superb. Absolutely superb from Kirsten Kasparai. Because Lauren James does exactly what every winger should do and tries to step across Kasparai and get the wrong side of her. But it's really good defending from the City fullback to get back in, get the right side of James, not commit a foul and get the tackle in.
I think James on form comes across her there. And then either you commit the foul or you let her go. Corner now and Cuthbert to take. Plays it short to Baltimore. Back to Cuthbert. Plays it to the edge now. Walsh unopposed. Can strike it here. Walsh. Ooh. It's parried away. And I don't mind that routine from Chelsea. James keeps it alive. Lays it into Cuthbert tidily. Who will lift it into the box. Berman tries to win it. Knack heads it away. That's the problem with trying to put the ball into the box. When Rebecca Knack plays for the opposition. Berman touched it down to James, who will take aim here, and that a lacklustre shot. Yamashita claims it comfortably.
Yeah, don't mind the routine there from the corner at all from Chelsea. I was a bit confused as to what they were doing, but that's the whole point. Walsh caught it nicely. Big save from Yamashita to keep the scoring level. Probably a bit straighter than Walsh would have liked. Probably a bit down the throat of the goalkeeper.
And it's a good save from Yamashita. She pushes it away from trouble as well. Germa here. That touch was heavy. And it's not been her best 28 minutes.
No.
Fault for the goal and just looks a little nervy in that back line.
I thought she struggled against Arsenal. And
I thought everyone struggled against Arsenal, but I do agree she was particularly poor. Ball down the line now, looking for Baltimore. And here come Chelsea again. It's been an onslaught since the opening goal. Baltimore taking on Kasparai. Chops onto her left, blocked well by Kirsten Kasparai.
Brilliant battle brewing on this left-hand side. Again, tidy from Baltimore, doesn't do anything wrong. Lovely bit of trickery, but Kasparov can match it.
Something's got to give eventually, though. You feel
yeah.
that Chelsea at the moment are having such an onslaught of attacks. Something's got to happen eventually. For everyone asking where to watch the game, it is on the BBC if you're in the UK, and I'm not sure if you're outside the UK what it's on. So yeah, if that for all the people asking, that's what we're watching on. Cuthbert hits it straight to Walsh on the edge this time. The touch is good. She takes aim, drills it just wide, and that was really smart. They realised by going short again, their City would catch on. They went direct into Walsh. It had to be a strong pass for it to work. Walsh's touch was actually really good. The shot just wide at the near post.
Yeah, again, really well worked from Chelsea, mixing it up, keeping City on their toes. Shaw does well to get out to it, but she gets out to it in a fashion where she forces Walsh to go towards that near post, and it just means she drags it wide. But yeah, Chelsea, really good reaction from going a goal behind it. Been the better side since Caroline scored. Just got to be careful they don't get hit on the break.
Sagawa into Caroline. Tries to take it past Berman and beats her. And Bright comes across, and that's brilliant from Millie Bright. Assertive again from Bright. Hemp now. Bright trying to force her to the corner. She's got nowhere to go. But she does win a throw-in from her, kicking it into Baltimore.
Big tackle from Bright. Berman gets beaten too easily.
Absolutely.
Again, I thought this would be a foot race that she'd be able to handle, but Caroline just bursts away from a superb challenge from Millie Bright.
Yeah, it's one of those Chelsea really miss Bjorn today.
Yeah.
Because I think Bjorn gives you so much. I think Germa will be a fantastic centre-half. No doubt in my mind that Germa will be one of the best centre-halves. Same for Villa Berman, in my opinion. Both really great prospects who are still adjusting to the league. But Bjorn gives you that experience today, and her performances in big matches for Chelsea have always been really impressive. I remember Arsenal at the Bridge last season. She was fantastic in that game. They miss her today. Really miss her today. Ball through the lines into Thompson. Now back to Baltimore. And that's cut out well.
Brilliant.
And they managed to squeeze it back to Villa Berman. I feel for Chelsea, because their squad is so strong, any omissions, any injuries are treated as though they shouldn't be problems because the squad is so deep. But they have had a lot of injury issues this season, Chelsea, especially in key areas like centre-back and in striker. Greenwood. Now back to Knack. Greenwood exchanging with Knack. And now here's Rose. Across to Rebecca Knack. Exchanges with Greenwood again. And now back to Ayaka Yamashita, and City slowing the game down, taking the sting out of it. Chelsea have raised that tempo because that feeds into how they want to play today. By slowing the game down, City are just killing time and adjusting their shape a little bit. Kasparov. Back to Rose. Now Yamashita. I mean, they've killed over a minute here. They've got themselves up the pitch a bit. Berman touches it into Captain, who lays it to Cuff, but Asagawa tries to pull her back. Walsh gets there though. Advantage played. Here's James. Holds on to it well. Now creates the angle for the ball in behind. But Greenwood will get there ahead of Carpenter, sorry. Hemp touches down the line, and Germa will come across and deal. Walsh round the corner into Lauren James. Walsh again. James. Here's Walsh. And it's James again. Now Germa. Bright carries the ball forwards. Wide now into Villa Berman. Plays back inside to Bright. He wants an option further forwards. Now Baltimore up against Kasparov again. Squeezes through the lines to Cuff, but who takes aim? Pushed over brilliantly by Ayaka Yamashita. Has been really important in that goal. The only one she hasn't saved, the only one she made a mistake on was the one that was offside. But these shots from range that Chelsea have struck, she's done really well to deny them. That's a fantastic save. Not only to stop it, but tip it over the bar as well.
Yeah, superb. Superb from Yamashita. Hit straight by Cuthbert, but hit hard. And Yamashita as well to react to it and get a strong hand to it.
And Cuthbert on this corner again. Ball in towards the area. Headed away by Shaw as everyone clustered in the 6-yard box there. Germer now holds on to the ball well. Knocks it back to Carpenter. Goes back to Germer. And Carpenter just made that run a little too early. Ball into the area now. Headed away by Hemp. Here's James on the edge. Cuthbert goes wide for Thompson, who has the space hit across, decides to hold on to the ball instead. Cuthbert now, and that's not a great ball, but it's going to fall free, and Yamashita out to it. Well,
yeah,
Thompson's got to go across the box there.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's just that final ball, it's that decision-making that's letting Chelsea down in the final third at the moment. But Yamashita, good piece of sharp goalkeeping. But yeah, Thompson had to try and just cause confusion.
Germer there made a bit of a mess of that tackle on Miedemar, able to win it back though. Here is Captain. Now Carpenter. I love Captain's energy in games like this. So important in terms of pressing. And she's great in these kind of games because there's a little bit more space.
Mm.
And she's able just to link the play really nicely. As I say that, loses the ball, and now City are in. Germer loses out to Shaw, who scores, and that will count. And it's City 2, Chelsea 0. And it looked for all the world that would be disallowed as Shaw seemed to pull down Germer, but City double their advantage in this game. Khadija Shaw, 1-on-1, tucks it home. And it's City 2, Chelsea 0, and Germer's really struggling out there.
I want to see that. Chelsea have stopped, and it's not good enough at the top level. Doesn't matter what you think's happened. Chelsea have just completely stopped.
Captain gets caught here. Just sandwiched between Miedemar and Hasegawa. Germer gets between Shaw. It's too soft. It's too weak from Germer. Yeah, I think Shaw does pull her a bit, but it's just too soft from Naomi Germer in there.
She doesn't appear one bit. Way too soft from Germer.
City 2, Chelsea 0.
She's done the right thing and tried to get her body in front of Shaw, but if you're going to be that weak, it doesn't matter what you do. You will just fall over. Not good enough from Germer. And when, Shaw 1-on-1, going to find the back of the net.
Yeah, it's been the story of Chelsea season. Individual errors costing the team. Now, Captain got caught on the ball without an option. Great pressing from City. They capitalised fully. That's weak from Germer. And Chelsea with a mountain to climb now. Germer. Goes back to Bright. Cuthbert now back across towards Naomi Germer, who manages to beat Hemp just. Hemp then wins it back. Hasegawa now. Plays it in behind, and Miedemar runs off the shoulder. But she won't. Oh, she does keep that in well. It looked like it would go. She's running at Germer. Miedemar comes inside, cuts it back. Carolyn, that's blocked. Still bundling it towards goal, and she backheels it wide. And it's given us a corner, and Hampton's furious.
Too poor again. Germer out on that left-hand side gets done way too easily by Miedemar. Way too easy, this. Just allows her to walk into the penalty area and get the ball across goal.
Germer's having an absolute howler.
Massive,
huge block from Carpenter.
Without that, it's 3-0 after 37 minutes. Bon Pastor's been booked. I don't think that's frustration at the officials. I think that's frustration at her team. Because they are all over the place at the moment.
I can't wait to see how obvious mistakes from Chelsea's defence get blamed on Sonia Bon Pastor. That will be fun. But it's just been so poor from individuals in the back line again. There's a foul in there as a mess of bodies around that Chelsea goal. Hampton takes it quickly, frustrated at Carolyn trying to delay the restart. She's been told she can't do that, but Carolyn there.
Because the ball's moving, because Carolyn's kicked it, because she's mucking about. I'm not sure what Chelsea meant to do there.
But that's exactly how... I mean, Hampton's frustrated. She could have done nothing about these opening 2 goals. Ball drilled out to the left-hand side. Berman. Now Walsh. Looking to switch the play and does so well. James now. Wants to take on Hemp. Darts inside and goes back wide. Lovely movement from Lauren James. Now it's Carpenter. Back towards James. Ball into the area. Knack heads it away. And that's out for a throw.
But again, we asked the same questions that we said last Saturday. Chelsea have got to raise it. Leaders on that pitch have got to step up. Millie Bright's got to get the young experienced Naomi Goma to get going again. Cuthbert's got to lead, get stuck in, win the ball back, win those duels. There's just no reaction from Chelsea.
Here's Bright. Now Goma. Back towards Bright. I still this is the thing. We're 40 minutes in. Chelsea are 2-0 down. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's been that kind of game. And I think Chelsea can get back into this. It's going to be a huge test of where their mentality is at this point in the season, where that belief is at. Do they drop their heads? Do they go, well, the WSL's over now? Or do they dig in? It's a huge question now of character. But it's if City are playing top notch, fair enough. We sit here and go, City have been unplayable. Fair enough, Chelsea. It's going to be impossible to beat them. But they've not been. The mistakes have come from Chelsea. And the issue it's put Chelsea in now is that City is just able to sit a little bit deeper and just kill this game off.
Yeah, the side
time wasting after 40 minutes.
The side top the league and 9 points clear. What's the chance of them letting a two goal lead slip now? As you say, I think that desire, that fire in the belly that has made Chelsea the serial winners that they are, just seems to have been dampened this season for whatever reason. It just doesn't seem to be there.
Right. Now into Cuthbert. Goma. James round the corner into Walsh. Back to James. Now Cuthbert. Right. James again. Tries to poke it through the lines. Cap time. Great control in there. Now Cuthbert. Berman. Bright. And that is a really poor pass. I think it's taken a nick off Miedemar though, and it will be a corner.
Wow. I'm not sure that's what really Bright intended, but Chelsea will take the corner from it.
Catalan says, Goma is inconsistent at Chelsea. I don't understand. She's so consistent, precise and creative for the US. She runs the back with Sonic. Maybe it's her not being a leader on the team that does it. I don't know. She's not physical enough. It's what you expect of a player coming across, and it's more prevalent in defenders than it will be in attacking players. But she just gets muscled off way too easily. Ball in from Baltimore. Walsh. It's such a physical lead, the WSL. Again, a similar thing there. You look at the contact. Here's Goma in the box, and that's a misplaced pass. And she's lost the confidence now as well in this game. But the Shaw and her grappling is given as a foul in the end of WSL.
Yeah.
But in the WSL, you've got to expect that level of contact. They do let more physicality go. Carolyn, ball across the box. That's a goal. Misses it. Goma panics. It's out of play for a corner.
Yeah, really struggling. That should be 3-0 City. Hasegawa, that is a glorious chance. Ball across the box from Carolyn. Hasegawa is unmarked. I can't explain how, I'll be completely honest.
Bright. Chelsea gets stretched in the aftermath. Bright, Berman,
no one talks.
All marking nobody.
Nobody talks to each other. And that is what I'm talking about, that leadership and their mentality. Not one of the three centre-halves there has spoken about who's marking who.
Ball floated in, header up in the air, and Hampton up to claim it well.
And I've said, it's not all doom and gloom for Chelsea, because in the other 2/3, it's been going quite well. It's been positive. The play's moved quickly. There's been, a couple of good corner routines, a couple of good chances, offside goal. It's been going okay. For this first half, the front 2/3 have gone well, but exactly the same. I mean, the Arsenal game's a bit different because Chelsea missed so many chances in the final third. But in their own third, Chelsea, last couple of games in these big matches, and we've seen it again at times this season, in their own third, just all over. I mean, this corner here, Carpenter and Goma have taken each other out and injured Shaw somehow. Not really sure how that's happened, but they've taken each other out because they're running around. They don't know who's marking who or what's going on. They've ended up just running into each other and falling over each other because nobody's talking in there. Chelsea's box defending and defending in their own third has been so poor in the last couple of games and in across the season. In the front two thirds, it's been okay, but their own third, they've been all over the place. And you don't get away with that. When you're a top team, you will be punished for that. And that is exactly what's happened in the league this season.
Yeah, it's a mixture of factors. Obviously, the setup in that defensive third has changed. There's a lot of new faces as well. We think about the sort of back four that played every game last season. You had Bronze, you had Bjorn, you had Bright, who's regressed significantly in that time as well, and you had Baltimore. Only 2 of those start today. And it is a different setup. And you have got Berman and Germa who haven't adjusted to the league, and Carpenter, who I still don't think's really adjusted defensively to this league. And it has left Chelsea very much open. It's a different structure to what they're looking to do. It was Bonpastor trying to evolve on what happened last season. She was aware that doing the same thing again would likely... Well, I think very much they could have won the league again by doing the same as they did last season. But I think there was that aspiration of kicking on, and they wanted to go one step further in the Champions League. Ultimately, I think the setup is partly to blame. I think people saying that it's all to blame, it is ludicrous. I think a lot of it is individuals. 3 minutes of additional time in this first half. Cuthbert back into Germa. Knocks it wide to James. Now Cuthbert goes back to Bright. Looking to play a forward pass wide now into Berman. Bright into Baltimore. Berman. And that's blocked well off Carolyn. And now Shaw. Playing Kilda Brown. Into Carolyn, nowhere to go. Pressed off the pitch well by Chelsea, and that's a throw in for the Blues, which Bright shouldn't be taking, and smartly leaves for Berman. Ball down the line. Held up brilliantly by Thompson. Baltimore now into Captain, who's found space between the lines. No one to find inside, though. Walsh. Now Germa. Wide into Carpenter. Needs support now. Carpenter. Blocked well by Greenwood, and that's a corner now for Chelsea.
Again, really good combinations in the final third for Chelsea. Linking up nicely. Starting on the left-hand side between Thompson, Baltimore and Capdine. They play out nicely. They get it over to the right, get Carpenter on the ball and win a corner.
Baltimore to Lauren James. Walsh now on the edge. Plays it to Baltimore. Now Lauren James wants to take on Hasegawa. Ball into the box. Flicked through and Shaw clears it. Now Carpenter. Walsh. Beat Miedemar, barrels her down, and that will be a Chelsea free kick. Played wide, James. Looping it towards the back post. Bright heads across goal. Germa's there, gets under it. Big opportunity miss there for the Blues. It's a great delivery from Lauren James. You can see the run of Bright. Heads across goal. And Germa... Got to do better there.
Yeah. Right idea from Bright to head that back across goal. And yeah, Germa just gets under it. That's more of a defensive header. That's what she needs to do at the other end.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sort of sailing over. There's not the player you kind of want in that position.
Yamashita launches. Headed on by Shaw. Berman will get there. Kasparai wins the header. Walsh now through the lines. Possession exchanges hands quickly. Here's Viviana Miedemar. She's forced backwards in to Greenwood. And that is the half-time whistle here. And City celebrating already there. Kirsten Kasparai. They've got a 2-goal advantage here at the Etihad Stadium. Goals from Carolyn and Khadija Shaw capitalising perfectly on Chelsea's defensive woes. And City here take a strong advantage into half-time. It's Manchester City 2. Chelsea 0.
Big 45 minutes from the league leaders, who once again show no sign of faltering. But as you say, Chelsea not good enough in their own third and allowing City to take full control of this game. Uphill battle now for Bonpastor and her side going into the second half. They've got to dig deep. They've got to find that mentality and that winning magic that has won them these kind of games before, has won them titles before. They need to reignite the side. I think the whole team just need to raise it. But City have taken full advantage of it. It's exactly why they lead the league, and yet they just show no signs of stopping.
Where do those individual errors come from? Because both the goals in that half and were quite isolated in the fact that City had other chances, but nothing that was particularly clear cut. Those were the two goals they've scored come quite directly from Chelsea mistakes. Is it inexperienced players? Is it a lack of the mentality that we expect from Chelsea? A lack of a leader out there at the moment? Why are we seeing these errors from Chelsea?
I think inexperience has a lot to do with it, but the inexperience is only shown up by the lack of communication. Communication and organisation are probably the biggest tools to defending well. And you look at those goals, and no one has spoke to each other. The first one, when the cross comes in, no one's told Naomi Girma that she can clear that, or that she's got space to take a touch and smash it clear, because she had time there. No one spoke to her, so instead she's panicked, just flicked it up anywhere. It's then flicked goalwards. And then have Hampton and Berman spoke to each other? No, because if they'd talked, Hampton could have claimed the ball and nothing happens. Instead, they don't talk. Berman just lashes it clear. It falls to Caroline and she scores from it. 2 moments there where if people talk to each other, that goal doesn't happen. And I mean, if also the defending at the front post was rubbish, but no, that's nothing to do with communication. That's just poor from everybody involved. And then the second goal, again, people have got to talk to each other. They're playing out. Captain gets caught. And then, Girma steps up. That's the inexperience really coming in. Just, tries to be strong against Shaw, is way too soft and gets done. But Peter got to talk to her. There could have been a third in there where City broke away and Caroline cut it across goal and Hasselgaard was unmarked and couldn't quite get on the end of it. But she's unmarked because no one's spoken to each other in that situation. Chelsea, the organisation defensively has got to be better. Your leader's got to talk in there. That should be Millie Bright. But the problem is when, because Millie Bright's been so hit and miss this season, as a captain, she's focusing on her own performance. And when you're focusing on how well you're doing, it's then difficult to instruct others, especially if you're not playing well. And I think she's played well this week. But yeah, Chelsea have the organisation in the final third is not good enough. And as you say, it partly will come down to a mix and match of players. You've got a lot of different players who have that back three or the back five is a lot of different players who have joined the club in lots of different places and different windows and probably still aren't there yet. But the leaders have got to step up. Erin Cuthbert. Yeah. Erin Cuthbert is a player that usually when Chelsea aren't playing well, you can look at and go, she's still played well today. But again, that fire, that desire, that it just isn't there. It really isn't there. I think that Chelsea is just, they've got to start working with each other. It doesn't seem like a team in the defensive third. Links up brilliantly going forwards, and they play some lovely football, and they all seem to be on the same wavelength. But defensively, everyone, the Chelsea defenders just seem to be on different planets to each other at times.
And the problem you've created as well is we're watching. The way to hurt City is being able to play through the City press and then look to hit them because they do play a really high line and they're poor at defending transitions. But so far in this game, Walsh has not really got on the ball. I think they've done really well by putting Miedemar on Kira Walsh, just shadowing her. That hasn't been a passing option. City have nailed the pressing structure in this game. And Chelsea can't play through the press at the moment, and they're not finding those options. There's a lot of fluidity in that Chelsea midfield, but we're not really seeing players drop in and pull City out of shape at the moment. And I think Chelsea are really struggling in build-up, which is what's then leading to that sort of onslaught. When Chelsea get into the final third, what's costing them at the moment is that the only way to get in there is in these sort of settled phases. And City just dropping deep into a low block, and there's not really any space to work with. There's this overcrowding, and it's not really because Chelsea players are on top of each other. It's just there's nowhere else to go. City are just filling their penalty area at the moment because they can.
Yeah.
Because they can sit deeper and know that they can send it long, and they're leaving Caroline and Shaw higher, and they're the players they try and hit long, and they've been able so far to really make use of that. But City's pressing's been the big difference in this game. Chelsea haven't been able to play out, and that's caused issues. And again, we saw here Captain drop to receive the ball, and people will criticise Vika Captain for losing possession, but what options has she got there? Because Miedemar's blocked by Walsh. She's got Hasselgaard on her back. Miedemar then comes across the deal. And I think she panics, and it's a mistake from Vika Kaptein, but there aren't the options there. And then obviously the ball gets played through, and Naomi Girma gets shrugged off so easily. I think Shaw was so quiet in this game when she's been up against Bright, but she gets that opportunity there running the side of Girma, and it creates that opportunity. So it's been really interesting to watch. It's a Chelsea side who don't look confident playing out from the back, who I still think don't really have a way to build out from the back. And that's been a real issue for Chelsea this season. And you've got a City team who are really good pressing, and that pressing structure for City has been super aggressive. It's something that every team struggled against this season. Chelsea are trying to be a little bit more direct at times. I think Thompson's really struggled, though, to get on the ball. When it's been other players in high areas, I think Chelsea have had a little bit more success. And yeah, I think, I mean, maybe you bring Sam Kerr on, it gives you an option to hold the ball up. You do go a little bit longer. I don't see who you bring into the back line. It's one of those where, Bjorn probably stops both of those goals happening. Now, that's not to say City don't find another way to scoring, because City have lots of routes to goal. But in those two individual circumstances, Bjorn absolutely deals with that. And I don't think enough is made of the fact that Chelsea have had a lot of big omissions this season through injury. And Bjorn has been she was so important for Chelsea last season. And it's noticeable that as soon as she got injured, is when we've seen this Chelsea, downfall, where they lost that unbeaten record first, and then they've had a bit of a tough run over Christmas. I think it's very easy because Bjorn's not a flashy player, to forget just how important she is. And you're seeing Goma come into this side and has looked fine in those easier games, but adjusting to the league and having to play in a game like this and playing in last week's game against Arsenal, we're seeing that lack of physicality really be exposed for Naomi Girma. So yeah, I think it was a very poor first half defensively from Chelsea. I don't think the defensive structure has necessarily been the problem. It's been individual errors, and actually it's been the build-up structure that's been a bigger issue for Chelsea this season. We've not really seen them use Kira Walsh adequately enough. I'm not sure what they're trying to do today in terms of the fact it just looks like Walsh and then three players sat higher and both wing-backs pushed high. It's like watching Brian Sorensen football. There's not really the options. And obviously we know City are super aggressive in the press. They've got Miedemar sat on Walsh. They're pushing Kerrin up with Shaw to put pressure on both centre-halves. If City are going to press that high, though, you've got to be more direct, and you've got to play over that press or through that press really quickly. Because if not, you will get pounced on. That has been the issue so far. But I don't think Chelsea are a million miles away. I think both City's goals have come from just individual errors and mistakes from Chelsea. They've capitalised really well. It's what City have done all season really effectively, and a lot of that is because they are fantastic at pressing. But I think it's salvageable for Chelsea. It's whether they can repair that build-up structure in the second half, look to be perhaps a little bit more direct and kick on from there. But I don't think it's a lost as much of a lost cause as people would think.
Yeah, not at all. I thought that Chelsea reacted to the going 1-0 down really well. It was the second goal that killed it a little bit in that first half for the Blues. I thought that the goal, Kerrin goal goes in. It's from a corner. It didn't really change. The game state didn't shift too much. Chelsea then got back on the horse, back going again. They had a real succession of corners where we saw that routine. We saw different routines, and from both those routines, Walsh got shots away. One really well saved by Yamashita, one past the post. We saw Yamashita pull off another big save to deny Cuthbert. Baltimore flashed one across goal, put just past the post, and Chelsea had a lot of chances in that spell. Then the second goal comes, and that's where it killed it, and that's where the Chelsea mentality was really shone through for me, because then we didn't really see that reaction. 2 goals down, and things just got a little bit slower. City took the pace out the game, and Chelsea just didn't really react from that, and that's where the shift is from Chelsea. I think it's exactly the same. Again, we saw it a bit last weekend against Arsenal. Chelsea went 2 goals down, and and then they still kept going. Of course, they still had a couple of chances towards the end of this first half, but they didn't react in the same way, and the game just lacked that. Their attack was at that extra bit of pace. But if they play like that, if they play like they did between conceding the first goal and conceding the second, they will cause Man City more problems in this game, and that's the way I look at it. But Chelsea have got to react. They've got to find that level, and they've got to keep going, because, yes, you say this is salvageable. Even if it isn't a win, it can definitely be a draw. It's going to be difficult, though, because City know the job now, and they'll be up for it. The last thing Chelsea could have done today was give City something to work with, let alone let them have a 2-goal lead. City, 2 goals ahead. They are 45 minutes away from being 12 points clear, and that would put them out of sight. They will know that. Jeglertz will know that. He will want his team to get it right. And if they do, well, they're practically WSL champions, and that's the situation we sit in.
Yeah, City are playing like champions, aren't they? It's the same thing we saw for Chelsea for years, where you put yourself in a position where those 50-50s go your way, and that rub of the green goes your way. You look at the moments in this game, and City have capitalised. City have got a deflected goal and a big mistake from Captain and then Germer. And you look at the other moments at the other end, and Captain was a whisker from being onside and just veered offside, and Yamashita's made a few huge saves. In a season where Chelsea are on top form and City are slightly below where we'd expect, it's those 50-50 moments go the other way. But we're not seeing that right now, and it is a Chelsea side who are low on confidence. I think a Chelsea side who are lacking in mentality at the moment. I think Bon Pastore is frustrated with what she's seeing. It's tough to get out of these kind of ruts when you're a side who are so used to winning. Where does that inspiration come from? What point in Emma Hayes' reign, and in fact all of this Chelsea squad, did they have this kind of problem where they needed to sort of rebuild a belief in this system? And maybe Chelsea, in this side, sorry, maybe Chelsea lost one game, but it was easy to get back on the track when you've won so many and when you're so clear in the league. But the league is more competitive than ever right now. A slow season does get punished more harshly than ever. And we're seeing that now for Chelsea, and there is pressure on the Blues for the first time in a long time now. This result would be incredibly damaging for the campaign, and yeah, it's a season that's been coming. I mean, people talk about Emma Hayes as being formidable. That last season, throughout her time at Chelsea, obviously they were formidable in the league, but they could never make that step up to Europe. In that last season, especially, as we start to see the level of the league increase, but even in that last season, United weren't great, Arsenal weren't great, and Chelsea was still incredibly lucky to beat a not incredible City team. Let's put it that way, in 2024, managed by Gareth Taylor. Last season, they took advantage hugely of the fact that City had a off season. Arsenal weren't good enough weren't consistent enough domestically. United were missing a few players. This year, Chelsea's downfall has coincided with United being significantly better, Manchester City being uncomparable to the side we saw last season, and that is accentuating it even further than perhaps it is true. But yeah, I don't think it's too much to worry about right now. There's still so far to go in this season. Arsenal and United both have to still play City. You'd expect the City side in this kind of form, and the fact that United and Arsenal are prone to dropping results, that Chelsea can still get into Champions League places, which is the minimum really for this season. But yeah, I think it was bound to happen eventually. Chelsea had to have an off season. It's happened this year. It's extenuated by those circumstances with other sides improving. I've got no qualms over Sonia Bonpastor continuing in the role, because I was bound to happen eventually. That Chelsea needed to move on from that Emma Hayes era. I think this will be a big summer of change in the personnel, and we always expected a minor drop off anyway. The level in the first season was completely unsustainable, especially with the amount of players who were so important last season who have not been available this campaign. So yeah, I'm not inherently worried. Maybe the second half will be a huge improvement. I think Chelsea will probably lose this game now.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's a huge issue. City have been fantastic this season. Just to get us back underway, no changes for either side in terms of personnel, and Chelsea continuing in the 4-3-3. Thompson from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle. That's the other thing that makes it really funny when people, because I can't be able to really look at the live chat right now. People say, "Oh, Brompers hasn't changed system." This is a different system. Pass back from Thompson into Walsh. We're back underway for the second half here at the Etihad Stadium. And it's back now to Villa Verman. And here's Bright. Across into Hannah Hampton. 45 minutes left in this one. Can Chelsea mount a comeback, or will City put themselves 11 points clear ahead of Manchester United in the WSL title race?
Maybe Skinnerball's coming. Who knows? That would be a big twist, wouldn't it?
Berman puts the ball across the face of goal, and Nak able to see that back to Yamashita.
Yeah. The first 5-10 minutes are absolutely crucial. If Chelsea start fastest and get a goal back, it's absolutely game on. for City. It's about making it through. They've got to just see Chelsea off now in the second half to get a professional job now for Jeglertz's side. And for Chelsea, it's about raising that level and putting City under pressure as quickly as possible.
Indeed, throw in now for Chelsea on this near side. Unfortunately, the BBC is more interested in Sonia Bonpastor. Here's Carpenter. Goes down the line, looking for Captine. Greenwood will try and see that out and does really well there. Alex Greenwood. And that will be a City goal kick.
I have to say, I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that away dressing room. Because I can't imagine Bonpastor was too kind on her players, and understandably so. Nowhere near good enough in that first half. But what's the reaction?
Indeed. Rose here, building out for on the back. Yamashita. Lifting it out towards the left-hand side. Meanwhile, tries to get the flick on. Now go back into Carpenter. Hampton out towards the right-hand side. Carpenter again. James trying to lift it in behind, looking for Thompson. And Rose there, forced again into another error. Thompson's pressing's been really good on Rose today. She hasn't really been able to hold on to the ball or make it stick up there for the Blues. James. Now Bright. Plays it forward into Sondy Baltimore. Tries to cut it across. Well dealt with by Blinkilda Brown. And there Kasperite jostling with Thompson. Frustrated. She felt she was fouled, but it will be a Chelsea throw-in. So Chelsea on the far side. Here's Berman. Launching a throw into the area, headed away by Yui Hasegawa. And Berman looking to take it quickly. Baltimore, Berman. Back towards Alyssa Thompson. Plays it inside to Baltimore, who makes the run in between. And that will be a corner. Nice move from Chelsea. Just couldn't quite find the angle there for the pass across onto Baltimore. Got into the half space well. Chelsea played through City in that wide area. Just couldn't quite find the cutback. Chelsea now looking for something different in the final third. Sam Kerr preparing to come on.
I'm sorry, that has to be injury related. There's no way they've waited 3 minutes till after half time to make that change.
See if anything else adjusts, I guess, and then look to make the change.
Maybe.
Cuthbert plays it short to James. Back to Cuthbert. Put in towards the area. Punched away by Yamashita. And now Carpenter, and that's blocked by Hemp. Bright will get there. Kerolin now running through, and that's given back to her by Bright. Walsh. Kerolin gets away from her. Through on goal. Dinks the keeper, and it's 3. And Millie Bright's challenge. Chelsea sent forwards up, and it left Kerolin exposed. Bright makes the tackle, giving the ball straight to Kerolin, who's through on goal. And she does brilliantly to stay composed, drive towards goal, and lift it over Hannah Hampton.
Brilliant performance from Kerolin in this game. Punishing once again, and it's a lovely finish over the top of Hampton. But Chelsea again questions. I don't know what Carpenter is thinking to do here. Never in a million years is she going to volley that home. She's got
Why is she so high? Carpenter and Walsh are supposed to be deeper there. Kerolin's the deepest, the player that's closest to the Chelsea goal. And as Bright makes the challenge, it falls to Kerolin through on goal. Way too open there. Carpenter and Walsh both too high. And Kerolin lifts it over the keeper. 3-0. Job done. City might as well get the title at the end of this game.
I just don't understand the rationale from Ellie Carpenter to try and not only even trying to hit that from 25 yards on the volley was ambitious, but she can see Lauren Hempst right in front of her. And rather than just stop and not do it or just make a proper challenge, she just volleys it into her, and of course it ricochets nicely for Hemp. Of course that's the way it's going to fall.
Kerr on to the field. That is the end of the afternoon for Villa Berman taken off.
Nuskin on as well.
Shocker Nuskin into the game as well, replacing Erin Cuthbert. Right, carrying the ball forwards out towards the left-hand side. Here is Baltimore. And Caroline does well to force her backwards. Bright inside to Walsh. That's brilliantly there to take it past Caroline. Now looking for Thompson. Kasperai clears it away. And Chelsea with the throw. On the far side. Carpenter holds the width well. Looking to drive inside now. Shifts into Kerr. He's made a great run along the back line. Plays it back towards Carpenter. His touch is poor. Greenwood hooks it away. Here's James now in this wide position. Creates space for the cross. That's a great delivery. Headed away by Kasperai. And Baltimore. Into Bright. Lifting it out towards the right-hand side. Hemp heads it away. Here's James. Now Germer. Plays it into Millie Bright. And Baltimore now swung in towards the back post. Poor cross from Sandy Baltimore. That comes to nothing.
Yeah, not a great ball in. Massive credit to Phil, by the way. Absolutely called it.
Yeah.
In his very unbiased, neutral opinion. But yeah. I mean, Chelsea thing is, but also that goal has shot Chelsea's changed in the foot. Kerr and Nuskin ready to come on, bang, goal. To take any danger away.
Germer assertive against Shaw, and Walsh able to pounce on the second ball, knocking it out of play. It's a classic situation. You've got a side in form on the top of their game against a side that are out of sorts.
How many times has this been the other way around over the years where we've seen Chelsea turn up in a title decider against another team and absolutely, wipe them off, clean the floor of them.
Right, back to Hampton. Now Carpenter goes down the line, well held on to by Kerr. James into Vika Captain, and Carpenter blatantly fouled there by Greenwood. Was running onto that ball and Greenwood just kicks her. Now Yamashita.
So frustrating, isn't it? It's still linking up well for Chelsea in the final third.
It's just the final ball was lacking. That's the only thing that's been lacking really in the final third. City have been able to drop really deep.
Yeah.
Carpenter now.
Loses out again.
And Hemp driving towards goal. It's a 2-on-2 across the goal, and Caroline for her hat-trick. And it's another 50-50, and Hampton's furious. Absolutely furious. Manchester City running riot against the reigning champions. What was a comfortable City victory becoming embarrassing very quickly for Chelsea. It's consecutive weeks where Chelsea just don't look on it at all. Another breakaway goal. And Carpenter has been awful in this game. Loses out there in the battle. Hemp plays it across. Baltimore does little to prevent her. And it's just gone now. It's absolutely gone for Chelsea. Even Hampton there. Can't stop it going in. And Caroline converting her hat-trick in this match. City 4, Chelsea 0.
Caroline show really brilliant performance from her. And again, individuals like Caroline stepping up for City when they need them. And for Chelsea, well, it's 2 for Germer and 2 for Carpenter in this game. Not good enough.
Into James. Out towards the left-hand side. Here's Sandy Baltimore knocking it down the line. Thompson. Chops in against Kasperai. Puts it on target. Saved well by Yamashita. And Carpenter can't keep it in play. That will be a Chelsea corner. That's a great save from Ayaka Yamashita.
Yeah, another big stop to keep City's clean sheet intact.
Corner out for the Blues. Ball in towards the back post. Well claimed by Ayaka Yamashita, who's been much better on those today. In previous games, she's been poor at claiming corners, but much better today. And that's a big stop. Now it's claiming a head injury, and that will just give City the time to slow the game down.
I mean, come on.
More.
I don't know. I get she goes down when she doesn't get the ball. She's playing the ball fine. Get on with it.
I'm just going to slow the game down now.
Oh, yeah, of course. Was she hitting heads? No. But yeah, City can do exactly what they want with this now. Complete control. I think Jeglertz last night would have been dreaming about beating Chelsea 2-0. I don't think even in his wildest dreams he'd have ever seen this turn out the way it is.
Indeed, they sent Chiara Keating for the dummy warm-up.
Well, I hope she comes on warming up like that. And again, but this is the mentality from City. That they're 4-0 up against the reigning champions, and the back line are still in a huddle, having quite a passionate conversation about what they're doing and how they're going to keep their clean sheet intact. And that's where that mentality is for right now for City. They refuse to buckle. They're doing incredibly well, and they're taking full advantage of Chelsea, who've just been rubbish in their own third.
Yeah, it's defensive mistakes that have cost Chelsea. And it's another game where so many players have lost 50-50s. And City have been on hand to fully capitalise on them. Caroline with a fascinating trio of goals in this game. She's been on hand to capitalise, but I mean, you're not going to get 3 easier chances.
Yeah.
If you tried.
But it's exactly what happens when you're a player. She came into this game, she picked up 6 goal contributions in her last 5 games. And then when you've got a defence that are making it as easy for her as this, she's going to punish. You've got an on-form of the attacker versus a defence that are all over the place.
Walsh now to Sonny Baltimore. Thompson drives inside with possession. Now to Captain. Nusken, ball in. Not sure who she's looking for there, Sioka Nusken. You've got Thompson and Captain there. Neither of them are going to have a particularly great chance of winning a header. Especially not if it's behind them.
Scott can't play well, though, because I think Nusken's got a great chance to start. Because Cuthbert was not good enough and Walsh just doesn't seem interested.
Launched by Yamashita. Yeah, she's been poor today, Walsh. That's another foul from Shaw on Nusken, and James has been caught in possession there.
Doing?
Miedemar breaking away. And Bright deals with Shaw. James shouldn't be on the centre-back.
I don't know how she'd end up there.
Riley, I don't want to talk about this because it's not really worth it, but saying not reading chats because we're speaking facts, quite frankly not. There's not really any point me reading out chats because just people saying we should sack Bonpastor, which is just a fundamentally stupid position. That's why I don't want to talk about it. So I can't believe that's how you're treating your community who watch and support you. You're not adding anything to the conversation. You just keep saying sack Bonpastor. Feel free to go make your own video about what you think about Sonia Bonpastor. But we've said multiple times at this moment I wouldn't sack her. And all you're saying is we need to sack Bonpastor. Cool. There's no substance to any arguments in the live chat. It's just anger, which is fine, but don't expect me to read that out. So what is the point in me reading out any of the messages in the live chat? It's just Sonia has to go. It's such a stupid opinion. But if I say that, then you get frustrated by that as well. So there's no winning. This has been an incredibly poor game. There's no hiding that frustration. It was incredibly poor last weekend. There's no merit, though, in just shouting Bonpastor needs to be sacked. That's my opinion. And there's other people in the live chat who've made that opinion quite clear. Just get shouted down the same way. But I mean, it's how it works, isn't it? It's frustration, and people will take out their anger on different things. I think any objective view of this game, though, is City have been incredibly good. Chelsea are having an off-season. The response to that isn't to sack the manager who won an unbeaten domestic treble last season. Chance now for Chelsea. Captain should score, misses. An open goal.
That sums up the day for Chelsea in a nutshell. That really does. Blinkilder slips over. Gilt edge opportunity for Capdine and just puts it blazes over the bar. Yamashita's off her line. That sums up the day for Chelsea. It really does.
It's past to Blinkilder Brown. He makes the mistake. Capdine, all of the goal to aim at, tries to lift it over the goalkeeper. Yeah. Germa can't deal with that ball long. Bright does manage to win it off of Viviana Miedemar. Ball over the top. And Yamashita out to collect it.
I think the other thing for Chelsea is that it's absolutely circumstantial. No one called for Bonpastor's head when we got turned over 8-1 by Barcelona.
Well, it's
because Chelsea had already won the League Cup and were on for the FA Cup and WSL.
Oh, it's things like that. I mean, you think back to Emma Hayes last season, lost 4-1 to Arsenal at the Emirates, which is a much worse result, especially the performance that day.
Yeah.
Do people say we should sack Emma Hayes? No. Because people were rational. But the difference is people love Emma Hayes and feel that Sonia Bonpastor hasn't been an adequate replacement. There's not a single manager in the world right now that comes in and is better than Sonia Bonpastor, does a better job. Maybe they have a better 6 months, sure, because of the impact of bringing a new manager and fresh ideas potentially. But, the manager market is poor right now. There is no value to sacking Sonia Bonpastor and bringing in who? Geraldo isn't leaving his post. Romeu is staying at Barcelona, and I wouldn't want Pere Romeu anyway. I don't rate him particularly highly. Yeah, maybe a Vidicic. You're not getting Martin Ho out of Tottenham right now. They've just started a project there. Natalia Arroyo, I saw in the live chat. It's a hilarious suggestion. Villa are so inconsistent this season.
But even then, okay, but Chelsea then still got to wait another 2 years before they win anything, because none of those managers are going to win anything now. What I find hilarious is that in 6 weeks League Cup final, Chelsea beat Man United, and suddenly Sonia Bonpastor's best manager in the world again.
Well, there's a very good chance Chelsea win the League Cup. There's a very good chance Chelsea are getting deep in the FA Cup, especially if they take United out next month. And the Champions League, while it feels absurd because the league hasn't gone well this season, Arsenal last season were terrible.
It's knockout football
domestically for the first half of the season. Slagers came in there and they did okay. But that squad was nowhere near in the Champions League. This is a much stronger squad with a much stronger manager. Take your personal feelings out of it. Bonpastor is a top manager. This is a frustrating result. Completely understand that. I feel just as angry about this result because this is not where Chelsea should be. But there's got to be a season at some point where Chelsea don't win everything.
But it's
not sustainable to win the title every single season. And there will be drop-offs, and this is simply a drop-off. But Chelsea have still only lost 3 matches in all competitions this season.
Exactly. I'm absolutely livid. I'm furious at this game. But not at Bonpastor. But Pitt will just refuse to blame the players. I said it last week for the Arsenal goals. Bonpastor did not... The ball didn't land in the penalty area, and Bonpastor did not turn it towards their own net. Bonpastor did not, lose the ball in the middle of the pitch and then get bodied by Khadija Shaw. She didn't do any of that. Bonpastor didn't give the ball away to Caroline to run through on goal on the halfway line.
There are valid criticisms of Sonia Bonpastor this season, but not a single person who's criticising her on the live chat has brought any of those up. It's just, the unintelligent shout of she needs to be sacked. No one's brought any arguments to the table about why she needs to be sacked or anything like that. So, yeah, I'll read out sensible comments, sure, but there's not much point me just trawling through people, just airing their frustration.
Who have Chelsea got next weekend? Because that's a statement for me, and I think that's where Bonpastor's got to prove where the responsibility lies, is drop the players. Simple as that, drop the players. Start a pivot of Potter and Niskin. Make a statement that it's not good enough. Don't start Germa. Don't start Carpenter. Make a point that the performances aren't good enough.
Well, the issue is, and this is part of the problem, is that you're forced into certain players because of who's available right now.
Yeah.
Our back four today had Berman at left back, who is inexperienced, Germer at right centre half, who is inexperienced and has not been good enough in this back four. You're moving to a new system.
Yeah.
Carpenter's not a right back. Like, Carpenter played that system in France, sure, but she's not a right back. She can play right wing back in this league, but she's not good enough defensively, as shown in this match, to play in a flat four.
Yeah.
As Lucas says, Bjorn will be back in a couple of weeks, and it changes that. Absolutely.
Chelsea win the League Cup. It's going to be so funny.
But I hope everyone who criticises One Pass Off doesn't celebrate that.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Because
stick with your guns.
Yeah,
still
frustrating. We can't be happy.
I expect us to get the League Cup final, and during the trophy lift, everyone's saying that she should be sacked. I think the other thing is that you look at the poor performances, and it's not even the same players. Last week, Bright wasn't good enough. Baltimore was shocking. Capdine really struggled. This game, Germer's been horrendous. Carpenter has been really poor. Walsh, I know she didn't play Arsenal, but Walsh has then been rubbish in this one. Cuthbert was okay against Arsenal, but not good enough against this one. And it's just it's a lot easier. If it was the same 3 or 4 players that have been really poor in both these games, then it's a different story. It's also the fact these are back to back. If Chelsea didn't play Arsenal City back to back, no one would have a problem. Obviously, they don't have a problem in terms of the results are rubbish. But if Chelsea had lost to Arsenal, won 5 in a row, and then we're now 4-0 down to City, it looks so much better.
Thompson now into Nuskin. Takes aim. That's block. Falls back for Thompson. Opens up the body. Takes aim. And Chelsea have a goal in this game. And Thompson looks around like they're going to mount a comeback. It's a fantastically struck effort. And Chelsea have a goal back in this game. Well hit by Alyssa Thompson. Finds the bottom corner. And Chelsea.
Here we go. Yeah, brilliant from Thompson. Lovely give and go. I wouldn't say give and go. Deflected off cut of Casperite. But it's a great finish. Really tidy knock out of her feet. Past Sam Coffey, who gets caught out. And again, speak about adjusting to the league. That's too easy from Coffey in there. Gets absolutely sent by the movement of Thompson, who then cuts it back onto on herself. That's a great strike from Thompson. Again, she's had a good game today, Alyssa Thompson. Really good game. Lovely goal.
Yamashita pass forwards. Khadija Shaw holds it up well. One back in there by Carnareed.
Brilliant.
Who carries it forwards well now.
Here we go.
Joanna Ritten Carnareed blocked well by Yui Hasegawa.
Chelsea beat the City side 1-0 a couple of weeks ago. That's what I love about football. It's just, well, not winning on the wrong side of it, but it's incredible how different games can be based on, and again, that shows, was it the manager or was it just the players on the day didn't turn up? Because on one day they did turn up, on the other they didn't.
They weren't great in that game, but I haven't watched it, so I can't speak too much. But apparently, from all accounts, weren't great that day.
But then it also goes the other way. City didn't turn up in that game, but they
missed a lot of chances. Yeah.
But they've turned up in this one. If City played like they did in the League Cup game, missed all those opportunities. I mean, granted, it was hard to miss the chances they've had today. It was harder to miss than it was to score some of them. But if City had been as an clinical, this would be nowhere near 4-1. And now suddenly it'd be 2-1, it'd be game on.
It's funny as well because I think a lot of the games where I think there's merit to a discussion about the shape not working were games like Tottenham, games like Leicester, games that Chelsea won.
Yeah.
I think where there's obviously got to be criticism on both parts, though, it is games like Arsenal last week, where Chelsea created more and had better chances, but big mistakes from key players and big misses from key players cost them.
Yeah.
Today, I think the Chelsea's weaknesses have been extenuated by the fact that Man City are so good right now.
Yeah. I mean, Carolyn's never scored a hat-trick for Man City before. I mentioned her form earlier.
Electric form.
She's in ridiculous form. Khadija Shaw, top goal scorer in the league, best striker in the world. Of course she's going to score if you give the ball to her and then she's, you're too easy on her. Of course she's going to score that. I mean, been caught in possession twice, one corner and one break, and one corner and one break away from a Chelsea corner. That's football sometimes. On another day, City don't score those breakaways. Chelsea deal with the corner, and none of those goals go in.
Germa into Walsh. I also like the fact, I mean, there's people in the live chat criticising Bombas or saying it's a back three today. I don't know what you're watching. Because it's not a back three, it's a back four. I think that speaks volumes. Shaw across into Hemp. Big save from Hannah Hampton to Denier.
Yeah, again, see a transition. Once again, Chelsea caught heart of the pitch. They've gone for it now, Chelsea.
It's also the shift to a four with players that aren't suited to it.
Yeah.
Today should have been the back three,
Mm-hmm.
but, I can't help but feel that people continuously shouting one plus ultra player back four. She's gone back to what worked last season. The problem is that the players aren't there to make that happen.
Yeah. You need a Charles on the left back.
Yeah, Baltimore played left back last season, but the difference you've got is that Baltimore's having to sit deeper, and obviously you've switched the whole play because you've got Carpenter.
Yeah.
And even as, an attacking fullback, Bronze got forward a little bit, but Carpenter just can't defend. Ball in from Kasparai. And that's headed home, and that is 5. Near post corner, headed on by Miedemar, and City adds a 5th in this game. We thought Chelsea may look to mount a comeback. It's a corner to the front post. Nodded on. Hampton's frustrated. That's the first one she probably should have done more for. And City, the fans can't even believe it. Cut there to a little girl going, what the hell is How the hell are we 5-1 up?
Again, we spoke about the corner threat in the build-up. Miedemar just rises highest at the near post. And, no one's on her.
Cluster at near post. So that you've got Nuskin behind her. How is no one in front of her there?
Captain Nuskin and Brighton, all 3 of them would jump behind her. Don't win ahead or behind someone.
I think Hampton's got to come out for that.
Yeah, probably.
I get why she hasn't, because there's so many bodies in front of her, but I think she's got to come out for that.
I'm intrigued to see what the reaction is from Chelsea here, because I like that Hampton is absolutely furious, like every other fan is. But if we cut the scenes of Millie Bright and other players joking about with City, then that's unbelievable.
Beaver Jones onto the field as well now. I think she's gone to... she's playing... it's a front 2 now with Beaver Jones and Kurt. And that was, I think, Lauren James, who's been withdrawn. Hemp driving the ball forwards, gets away from Beaver Jones. Now shifts it, and that's a good challenge from Germa. Carnereed. Carpenter. Back now to Germa. Back to Ellie Carpenter. That's the thing. I mean, people talk about Chelsea switching, and now it's a chance for Hasegawa. Well, wide. I thought I might even go for a throw. People talk about Chelsea shifting formation this season, but with the players in this squad, how could they not play a back 5? As shown today when trying to play a 4, it's been opened up.
Yeah.
Because when you've got Millie Bright, who needs to be in the middle of a back 3 to be protected, when you don't have a natural left back, when you don't have, when you've got Carpenter who has to play a higher role because she's not good enough defensively to play in a flat 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went down one clear route, and Chelsea. The problem is the injuries that Chelsea have had this season have targeted to not be able to go back to a 4. They've gone to a 4 today, and look what's happened.
Yeah.
Bright.
I have to say, being 5-1 down and seeing Mary Fowler ready to return.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
City using this opportunity to bed players in.
Yeah, really encouraging. Fowler and Clinton are going to be the ones to come on. Really big for Mary Fowler, been out for a while. Nice to see her back on the pitch. I'm sure that she probably wouldn't have been introduced if this game was much tighter.
Indeed, and that'll be Khadija Shaw withdrawn, who had a lot of joy against Germa today. I actually thought Bright dealt very well with her, which I thought was what was going to be the plan.
Yeah.
But with obviously the way that Chelsea have lined up today, it meant Shaw could go between the 2 strikers.
Yeah.
And Clinton, the other player, coming onto the field for Viviana Miedemar.
You feel it's set in for City. I think this game is not... I mean, obviously, the fans and the players are jubilant that they're 5-1 up against Chelsea. Never would have seen this coming. But I think it's setting in now that this year's their year.
Yeah,
11.
this was the final hurdle to get
Yeah.
over, because lose this and suddenly the title race is tight again, or at least tighter, and it puts pressure on City, and they've slipped from 6 points before. But this gap with United as their closest challengers,
They can lose to United and Arsenal and still be 5 points clear.
yeah,
That's incredible margin. They've got 3 losses in them, and they're still 3 points clear. No, 2 points clear. That's the way they'll look at it.
great ball from Nutskan. Unable to get there. Just slightly ahead there of Sam Kerr, good defending as well from Knack, who's just able to shield her back. Yamashita pumping it forwards. Captain tries to cut it out. Falls to Germa. He plays it back to Coffey. Baltimore wins the header. Falls for Sam Coffey. And back now to Kasparai. Here's Hasegawa. Shift inside to for Gino. Coffey. Kasparai back to Coffey. Into for Gino. And the way City moving the ball now. Nothing short of fantastic. Kemp. Cuts, puts it in there, and Clinton's header. A tame one, saved well.
I think if Arsenal win the FIFA Women's Champions Cup in a couple of hours' time, I think it might be the best 8 days of any Arsenal fan's life. Beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Probably.
Smash Asphalt on Wednesday. Watch Chelsea lose 5-1 to Man City. And then go and win another trophy. I don't think they will. I think Arsenal fans will celebrate more than they did when they won the Champions League.
I also think it will probably lead now to the biggest distribution of titles in WSL history. As in, I think all of the top 4 could claim silverware this year.
Yeah.
It's not unfathomable now that Chelsea or United exchange the cups.
Yeah.
City win the league, Arsenal win the FIFA Champions Cup.
And then one
not as prestigious.
And then one of Arsenal, United, or Chelsea won the Champions League.
It's not possible, is it?
Yeah.
I don't see United winning it. I don't see Arsenal winning
Mark
it.
Skinner ball.
But,
He might bridge the 11-point gap to Man City and United win the league. But
here's Knack. Playing it long. Bright wins the header. MC's out of play. It's a City throw-in.
it's just one of those ones, as a player and a fan, you just want that whistle to go. I think you can sense that with Chelsea. They're still going. Of course they are. Well, certain players are. But you just want this game to be done.
Knack clipping it forwards, and Bright will bring it down.
The reaction at 4-1 as well will be disappointing, because I think Thompson gets you back into it. If you grab another one at 4-2, it looks slightly less. You know, it looks slightly better for Chelsea.
Yeah, of course.
You know, conceding the 5th, and just one of those.
Lots more down the line, cut out by Kasparai. Now Clinton. Fowler knocks it over the top, and that run through to Hampton. And now Germa.
Hampton adopting the Robert Sanchez push pass there. That's quite interesting.
Something new.
Yeah, maybe that's what's gone wrong. They've been training together. Well, there's one man that is still in full voice and has never stopped.
That's a Chelsea fan right there.
That's a Chelsea fan. He doesn't want
what it means.
To
5-1 down. He's still going to support the team. Beaver Jones through to Carnereed. Thought she might shoot. Cuts it back. And Carnereed's ineffectiveness in the final third highlighted once again.
Need to hit it. Should have just shot. I'm really not sure why she didn't. Brilliant football between Kerr and Beaver Jones. Lovely poke through from Beaver Jones. Carnereed touch, bang. Does well to sit Greenwood down, and then doesn't still refuse to shoot, and then ends up conceding a goal kick. Just, yeah.
Bright, assertive. Balls now for Kerr.
Oh, lovely again from Chelsea.
Cut a cross goal, and once again, Unable to convert. Captain tries to keep it in her grasp. Hasegawa is spun. Captain takes aim. That's blocked. And now Clinton. Nice turn. Plays it into Hemp. Tries to go down the left-hand side. Carpenter sees her out well. Germa. That cross into Bright. Baltimore into Captain. Back towards Baltimore. Captain poking it down the line. Won't quite get there. And so City now with a throw-in on the far side. Kasparai into Mary Fowler. And that's picked off well by Sondi Baltimore. Thompson, and that's a poor pass backwards. Clinton picks up on the loose pass. Thompson gets back in and Carpenter clears it away.
Well dealt with by Carpenter for the first time today. But yeah, Thompson just mixed up there. Inaccurately hit pass. Allows City to come forwards. City doing well. Just managing the game, as you say. The way, just watch them knock the ball around now. You know, it's got confidence, it's got class. It's got champions about it.
Yeah. They're playing against a dejected Chelsea team. They're moving the ball with ease. Here's Fowler. Hasegawa. Now Greenwood. Garner Reed. Can't hold on to the ball. Played forwards. Kurt can't quite get there. Now Clinton. Gamma tries to stand her up. And that's blocked wide. And that'll be a City corner.
Is it Beaver Jones down for Chelsea? It is. Just returned from injury.
That's a bit concerning. I imagine that'll be the end of the afternoon for Maggie Beaver Jones.
Off the ball completely. That's not good. Because that screams rushed back. Or dealt with. The BBC love it, don't they?
They've brought on two City pundits and Farrell Williams. They know what they're doing for today, and they've cut the bomb past door every 5 seconds. The BBC spun a narrative before this game's even happened, but that's what we expect from mainstream.
I think Chelsea have been absolutely woeful, but it's all about a Chelsea loss rather than a City win. I get that obviously Chelsea have been absolutely shambolic in this game, but I can't wait to see City given no credit for this.
He was caught by Sam Coffey in there. Not intentionally, she was trying to win the ball back. Coffey
it's probably more just that contact has aggravated a little bit, which is obviously going to hurt, but isn't as bad as redoing the injury. But yeah, apparently the answer is more tape. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but I'm not the physio. I don't think he knows what he's doing. But yeah, City have just been. It's exactly what they've done all season. They've just. It was the one thing they were potentially lacking a little bit is that they have dismantled all the sides in the bottom half and all the sides outside of the top 4. But this is a step up. This is dismantling, the best side in the country for the last few years. And of course they've beaten. I mean, they dismantled United at the Etihad. To be fair, to give them their credit.
But again, United had a caveat on that day: the fact that no one was fit, and they had Middleton Patel in goal, who was undoubtedly at fault for some of those.
That is true. But again, they take advantage and they do exactly what. Do exactly what they need to do. Have Arsenal still got to come to the Emirates? Sorry, City got to go to the Emirates, haven't they? They don't put Arsenal at the Etihad. I don't know why. And they put the
Was
Joey.
it the Joey? I think it must have clashed with the men's side.
Yeah, probably. That'll be an interesting game. Will it though? It'll be interesting from an Arsenal point of view, and I think that's the way we're going to look at the City games now. They're not title battles; they're massive games for the top four. United taking on when United, host City, and when Arsenal host City, those games are bigger for the top four race, and it's not going to matter for the title race. It's going to be more. Will Arsenal and United drop points now? Against Man City. The answer is probably.
Yeah. I still don't think Arsenal, Chelsea in trouble of not qualifying for the Champions League. Of course, the position right now is precarious, but Arsenal and United have both proven this season they're more than capable of dropping points to sides lower in the table. Obviously, they've both got to play City as well.
I've always said you'd rather have the points than the game in hand.
Firmino driving it forwards, trying to wriggle through the Chelsea team, and that shot not matching how good the run was.
Yeah, and that was incredibly easy.
They've given up.
Yeah.
That's what we just saw in there, in that defending.
And yeah, Virginia stayed down here, but yeah, lovely run. Beats 1, beats 2, beats 3, and the shot beats 4. But Hampton does well to get it. Bit of a weak shot. Good tackle from Carpenter to get across. Yeah.
And we wait while Firmino receives treatment. Just landed horribly afterwards.
Yeah.
Especially a player who's been out with her for a fairly long time.
Yeah. Just takes more time. Like, I can't imagine they'll add too many minutes on, but this is the WSL. They do like to make up for lost time. Well, said this will be a big weekend. Said this has been a massive weekend for the for the whole league really. Both the mid pack and the the bottom of the table, of course, the top of the table now as well. Tell you what, it feels like a very long time ago that first Carolyn goal went in. Really does.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. It's been a long game.
Very long game. I feel like it's been a big weekend at all ends of the table, but
I don't think loads has changed.
Exactly, but I just don't know. Apart from the title now, I still have no idea who's going to get the Champions League spots. No idea how the mid pack's going to look, and no idea who's going to get relegated.
Yeah, it's still incredibly close in a lot of different areas in the table. I think what we learned is that, results all sort of pan out as you'd expect. Liverpool were up a good fight, but United were too strong for them. Everton were better. That was a surprise.
That was that was a surprise.
Brighton completely outplayed London City and lost 2-1. That sums up both their side seasons. Brighton's inability to finish chances and London City's ability for the ball to somehow find the way into the other team's back of the net, regardless of what London City do.
If you haven't seen the Minami own goal, I tell you have to go watch that. It's a great finish.
And Tottenham looked like they may have been stunned early by West Ham, but ultimately quality prevailed and they picked up 3 points. So
normality resumed.
Yeah, West Ham, Liverpool didn't gain anything. Everton with a big 3 points, but I'll be intrigued to watch that back because they've been really poor recently. So they must have been much better or Villa were poor.
And if I know Aston Villa, they are good at just being rubbish every now and again.
Yeah, true. And yeah, London City are somehow 6th.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Just every time you think something might give, but no.
12 minutes from the WSL is absolutely appalling. Yes, there's been injuries, but it's 5-1. That is ridiculous.
People have got to get home.
City have killed this game off, just slowing it down. 12 minutes is ridiculous.
Stupid number.
Because yes, City have time wasted and delayed, and there's some players down, but it's not been 12 minutes. And at 5-1, you use your brain.
And this is 12 minutes, including.
But don't say I want more goals. And Laura Coombs looks like she'll come on for over for Gino.
Yeah. Well, she's back to her feet, which is encouraging. And walking off. But yeah, players just come back. I think it's more a knock to the head, so potentially not anything that's going to rule her out for a while, but we'll wait and see. Coombs into the fray to see out the last 11 minutes.
Indeed. Well, we've got another game to watch now before.
Yeah. They want to fill the gap before the Champions Cup that everyone's excited for.
Hampton launches it long. What we're going to say is by Corinthians.
It's got to be a good. I hope it resembles a final. That's all that's all I want.
I don't. I was 8-0. Corinthians.
The shocks of the day just keep. Chelsea get smashed by 1.
That'd be a shock.
Everton win a game, and Corinthians win 8-0.
So 10 minutes of the absurd additional period to play here. And City with a corner.
I do wonder if they've put 12 on in hindsight the Firmino injury, not realising how quickly she was going to get up.
Even so, the game's over. What's the point? Garnered heads on. Asagawa strikes from range. It's going to fall kindly for Clinton. It's saved wide. Brilliantly by Hampton.
Another good stop. City still searching for more. Everyone trying to get in on the act. But another good save from Hannah Hampton. Again, Chelsea did initially well with the corner, but when the ball comes back in, I mean, Carpenter's surprised by it.
And everything's gone back, every clearance has fallen straight to a City player today. Greenwood forced back to Hasegawa. Yamashita launches to the left-hand side. Here's Hemp. And it's out. Somehow for a City throw. Greenwood goes down the line. Vincent will get there. Tries to play it back now. We'll run all the way back to Greenwood's neck. Through the lines into Coffey. And back to Jade Rose. Fowler into the box. Head away by Germer. Connery running out of room and Hemp turns it over. Dives inside now with the ball. Cuts it across goal. Germer does well. Chelsea get it away. Baltimore battling Combs. Combs runs it off and that'll be a Chelsea throw-in. Still a while to go. Kerr. Across to Germer. Hemp heads it down. And that falls to Rebecca Knack. And Yamashita launching it up the pitch. Bright wins the header. Headed on by Nuskin. That falls to Coffey. Sagawa back to Coffey. Into Hemp now. Hemp back to Greenwood. Now Yamashita. Across to Net. Yamashita again. Coffee. Spreads wide into Rebecca Neck. And now Hemp driving it down the left-hand side. Carpenter stands her up. Hemp now gets the better of her. As has been the story throughout this afternoon. Carpenter gets back in and deals with the cross.
Yeah, good tackle. It's a shame she waited 96 minutes to beat Hemp.
Do some defending.
Yeah.
Corner. Oh, sorry, taken short. And Hemp holding it in the corner. Greenwood flicking it to Clinton. Hemp. Coffee now. Blocked away by Bright. Rose. Hasegawa. Says, comparing her to Emma is hilarious. Emma built this from scratch, or Sonia inherited a world-class squad. Not the same situation at all. No. Emma built a team that was perfect for what she wanted. Bon Pastor is still doing that. The difference is she doesn't have the same time afforded to her. Baltimore clearing it away well, as the ball was just left to hang in the air and no one challenged it.
I think City have got bored a bit, and someone should have ran onto that and headed it home.
Neck. Rose back to Neck. I also think it's funny when people say that Bon Pastor inherited a world-class team. I don't think she really did. I mean, it's obviously an incredibly strong team, but it was a lot of players towards the end of their careers. Most of the players who were integral under Emma Hayes have either departed or are past it.
Yeah.
So to say she's inherited a world-class team, I mean, it worked last season. She managed to, the team was at their peak, and it was a fairly simple structure, and that's why they won the league. It was helped by the fact that a lot of teams were really poor, but it wasn't a team adapted for what Bon Pastor wants from a squad. We've started to see them building towards the squad, but now what you've got is a mixture of players that Bon Pastor wants that fit the type of football that they want to play, and then players that are still here from the Emma Hayes days and aren't necessarily suited to what Chelsea and Bon Pastor want now.
Mm.
This summer will be incredibly important, and we'll see how Chelsea move on a lot of those players. But yeah. Says that Andree also got no time and City already performing. Well, it's the same thing Chelsea did last season and Bon Pastor did last season. It's not been quite as dominant just because they lost the opening game to Chelsea. Outside of that, though, they've won every game, haven't they?
The difference is that Gareth Taylor should have won the league with this City squad, and he didn't. That's why
exactly.
That's why it looks better on Jeglertz, because City haven't won the league, but Gareth Taylor should have won the league with this City side at some point.
You've inherited a squad that they're not all reaching the end of their career. You've got prime Hasegawa, prime. If Bon Pastor came in when you had Kirby and Kerr in their prime, and the back line in their prime, and all these players and so on, then yeah, fair enough if that went horribly wrong. But this team was always going to need a rebuild. Hayes left before it needed that because the opportunity to manage the US came up. Andree's come into a side which was, was already ready to win the league. He's added players like Rose, who've made this team much better. Added players like Clinton, who've helped out the squad a little bit more. Added players like, obviously now Sam Coffey, as they look to kick on and make this team even stronger. But he didn't inherit a team that needs work.
Mm.
And we're over 100 minutes. Thompson driving it forwards. That's the best. Another great chance for City there. Germa got it off the line. Thompson out to the right-hand side now. Carnareed takes on Uaha, but he takes aim. Saved well by Yamashita. Carnareed. Overlapping runner Carpenter. Cuts it across the box. And Hasegawa pokes it away.
Here's a question for everybody. with the inconsistency of Chelsea, Arsenal, and United, would Gareth Taylor have won the league this season with City if he'd stayed in the job?
Yeah, absolutely. He should have won the league in 2024.
Yeah, don't know how.
The injury to Shaw and the fact they didn't have the squad depth killed them. Taylor's not a bad manager. It's absurd that, I mean, I know City fans feel like the last season didn't go to plan and they've absolutely blamed him for that. And part of the blame's on him, but most of the blame is on the fact their squad had so many injuries. I think Jeglertz is a better manager. I don't think that's any secret. But, Taylor's still a top coach.
Because I don't know whether he'd have got the results like Jeglertz has against the big sides, but they'd have rolled over the bottom team.
Absolutely.
In exactly the same fashion. They probably would have got a point, or at least, a small win against some of the big sides. Don't think anyone. I can't say Gareth Taylor.
This is Jeglertz's first big scalp, really. I mean, he beat Arsenal, but Arsenal have been poor this season, and that was a game where it was very transitional, and they could have been punished.
United.
They got the result against United, but United had so many injuries in that moment. It wasn't the United side that have been so strong for the rest of this season. This is his big scalp, and it's a huge statement to beat Chelsea in this manner.
Oh yeah, this isn't just this. Yeah, there's a statement victory, and then there's this.
This isn't just because City are incredible. There's obviously Chelsea.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
2 goals in the first half. Daniel Jeglertz. They went for the game in the second half, lining up in a fullback with both Baltimore and Carpenter as fullbacks is hilarious. But Chelsea went for the game. If they got a goal in that moment, maybe it changes. But ball goes forward from Hampton.
Why is it not over?
This ref has nowhere to be. Her B&B, they don't open check-ins till 5. So she needs to kill some time. Thompson now driving down the right-hand side, and that's blocked. And that's another chance that on their day goes in. The referee still hasn't seen enough.
I think Mel Bergin will be glad that this has been a bit quieter than Arsenal-Chelsea was at the Emirates. Not as much to do. Good block from Rose. Thompson probably should have looked to pass it to somebody.
Who can Baltimore pick out from this corner? Ball in, falls to Bright. And that's blocked well by Hemp. And we're into the 103rd minute. Captain takes it short. Thompson delivers it in towards the back post. Header on target. No one can pounce as it bounces in front of Yamashita. And it's a comfortable claim for the goalkeeper. And that is the final whistle. Manchester City embarrass the reigning champions. It's City 5, Chelsea 1. A long game, not just for Chelsea fans, a long game in general that will last forever. But there we go, full time here at the Etihad. We'll be back in a few hours now. Well, not long actually, now that this game's taken ages, as Arsenal take on Corinthians for the highly anticipated inaugural FIFA Women's Champions Cup final. So join us for that clash where we'll be hoping that Zanotti can put up a similar performance as she did against Gotham FC and Corinthians can somehow win that trophy. That is everything from us today. Not much to say on this game. We'll be back to talk about it in depth on tomorrow's weekend roundup. But that is everything. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you later. you.